Good afternoon, everyone. 10-4 Broadcasting Team here, bringing you the High Octane Sim Series. This is Patrick Morrison here in the booth with Kynan Jones and a special guest, Robert Rader from the Racing Revolution League. Last week, these drivers battled at Watkins Glen, a tough road course for any driver, but Nick Alford spent a lot of time practicing, landing him a podium position at third place. Only two other drivers beat him out. The 24, Riley Hoots, and Jacob Fifield in the number 45 showed how much speed his Chevrolet could put down, putting it in the winner's circle. But tonight is a much different style and approach. Homestead Miami Speedway was built right after Hurricane Andrew in 1992 by South Florida racing promoter Ralph Sanchez. This 1.5-mile track, surrounded by 1,000 palm trees, its final state you see here tonight was completed in 1997. 20 degrees banking in the turns are sure to bring great racing. High Octane Sim Series sponsors would like to thank you for joining tonight. Those sponsors would be Captain Jack's Smokehouse, W Energy Drinks, and a sponsor of 10-4 Broadcasting as well, Admin Box. So all three of us here in the booth here are iRacers, starting with you, Kynan. Track temps are at 90 degrees. What does that mean for the traction out here tonight?
The traction is going to be much better than what it would normally be on a hotter track, so you're going to be able to be a lot more aggressive on the car, but you got to be careful not to be too aggressive, burning up your tires, because with this sort of track and the speeds that you are able to take for these corners, they'll burn up very quickly, but it's just going to help keep the cars on track for longer and hopefully will encourage some better side-by-side racing for longer.
All right, and I know both of you took some laps out there tonight, but I'm going to throw this one to Robert. How'd the vehicle really feel on the track out here tonight?
Well, it feels like the Gen 7 Cup car. It seems like it's about the same as it is at most of these 1.5-mile tracks. The car has a ton of grip. It's going to be really difficult for these guys when they are in traffic trying to fight the dirty air, especially the further back in the pack that you get. So, they're going to be looking for the clean air tonight, and it's going to be a tough one.
All right, and tough it will be. I know some of the drivers here not going to be here tonight. Unfortunately, Matthew Batby, Isaac Emerson, and Jacob Fifield, our last week's winner, are not going to be here tonight. I know we've seen Isaac Emerson. He hasn't been out here for a few weeks. We talked to him before, but man, you got to get off that Harley and get back on the iRacing simulator. But back here in the booth, all right, for both of you, is fresh air the key to winning tonight's race? Cheap.
Oh, go ahead, Kynan. You take that one first.
Obviously, clean air is going to be much more beneficial. You're able to run your own line, but compared to when you have a car in front of you, it's going to be affecting how the car's going to drive. So clean air, as for always on really any track, is going to be more beneficial from my perspective.
I agree, Kynan. And the big thing here for us tonight is that there aren't a whole lot of very fast lanes here. You have a lot of options, but not all of them are equal. So I think you're going to see a fight for the middle, and that means that tire wear is going to be really important too.
All right, but we will be looking at one faster pair tonight for the High Octane Sim Series. 6 sets of tires sitting behind those pit boxes. Fortunately, we'll have a wonderful 86 degrees and stages. We'll have 2 of those, one at 52 and the second one at 104. After that, it will be a shootout to the end. But right now, these guys, we did see them in the background for a little bit of that qualifying. Riley Hoots takes the pole here tonight in that 24 machine. Had a little trouble at Watkins Glen sliding around. Nick Alford second, Edward Marshall third. Looks like Brendan Mathia there in fourth. Jeremy Richmond, another one of those J. Carroll Motorsports, up in the top 5. Good to see him back out here tonight. Zachary Denius there in the 6th. Michael Cunningham 7th. Alan Bledsoe was fast, super fast in practice, but wasn't able to get the pole here tonight as he's dialed it back to the 8th position. William Britton in the 64 machine, and James Brosecker right there in the top 10. So a lot of guys you're seeing actually falling back there a little bit than what we normally see. Paul Bojanic there in the 11th. Jason Monteville, I haven't seen him out here before for the High Octane Sim Series and the 03 car, so we'll hopefully see him moving up. Michael Boyd in 13th, Christopher Miller 14th, Matthew Wilson 15th, another fast car there of Wilson, so we'll see if he can get his way back up front. Ian Janik there, Brian Messer, Julio Villalobos in the 78. Boy, he's really back there in the pack, kind of. We know when we've seen him moving up fast before. Brandon Fetter placed Robert Ballard Jr. Man, talk about weird seeing Fetter placed back here so far in the 20th position. So we'll have to see how this works out. Phoenix Mattern, Kelly Thomas, and Jeffrey Goodpaster. We'll have to see if that 33 machine, if he makes it out and gets going around the track here. But really, I think we're going to see a little bit of a tumble up here as we get ready to line up here, kind of.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see where people really decide to position their car, but take it away, Robert.
Get off the beach and grab your seats. We're going racing in the High Octane Sim Series.
All right, Riley Hoots goes ahead and gets a great launch on the first start of the night. So that 24 target machine getting a good move there on Nick Alford. I'm not sure if Nick Alford, if this is the line he wants to run, but right now that is where he's going to be. A fast mover you will see here. I know you haven't been here before, Robert, but right now watching that 98 machine of Jeremy Richmond, he's quick. He doesn't really have a whole lot of patience getting through the field, so you'll see him kind of slice, make some aggressive moves, and we'll have to see if the tire fall off is going to be a big move for him.
Yeah, so far looks like he's fighting the dirty air here. Almost got in the fence there following the one into the corner. Right here, actually, he's going to almost turn the one car. Man, nice save.
Yeah, got to be very careful. So a lot of guys, so right now in the 2nd, 5th, and 6th are the JKR Motorsports vehicles up here in the front. I know Riley Hoots would like to have Matthew Batby, one of his Kenny Powers Motorsports teammates there, getting up in the front with him, but he's going to be stranded out there tonight as we see Jeremy Richmond once again still trying to look on the inside of his teammate there, but not without Alan Bledsoe looking to the outside. So Kynan, really, this is starting to wrap up to be a battle here really between 5, 6, and the 7th position.
Yeah, so far, early stages is when you're going to be able to make the most amount of overtakes, but you've also got to make sure to not be involved because it's also the easiest way to get involved in a wreck. The pack's all grouped up, so yes, it's going to be easy to make an overtake now, but you've also got to be careful because that's when you're at the biggest risk of being involved in a wreck.
Yeah, we're taking a little look here along with Jeremy Richmond inside his car here. As we see, he's definitely very fast on the inside of these turns. I've raced with him before in different leagues, and boy, this is kind of what he's able to do. He's super fast right off the get-go. I just don't know how long he can hold out in that 98 machine, keeping that thing up out front and fast at the same time. But let's rotate back here to Cunningham. Let's see how he's doing in the 9 as he's getting ready to, ooh boy, as he kind of puts a little extra paint trade there on James Brosecker in the 3.
Yeah, he drove in there, cut him.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, gentlemen.
Yeah, no worries. He just got in there a little too deep. It was, once again, one of those situations where, everyone's fighting for the same real estate out there.
Yes, it is, and that will be definitely a hard battle there as we see Brosecker, got that quick little shove, but he does seem to have another vehicle there on the outside of him. Looks like Jeffrey Goodpaster. Is that who that is? No, that is the 03. I believe that is Monteville out there. Sorry about that. The car numbers on these next gens here, kind of are definitely kind of weird, between them either being in the middle of the car or up in the front. I'm not sure which one NASCAR is going to pick and stick with. I'm used to the old school style. I liked how it looked then, but them kind of squishing them up in the front definitely changes how we make the calls up here in the booth.
Oh, there's a wreck around with the 9.
Oh, we got a big one back there.
Yep, looks like the 3's turned around. Ooh, boy, he's got to stop. Oof.
That was close.
Alrighty, and that is going to bring up our first 10-4 broadcasting replay here, and let's kind of see what exactly happened here. I know Brosecker got tied up in a little bit of it, and I don't know if that ended up being any part of his fault, or if the 9 ended up really getting to him. Let's take a quick look here. Looks at Michael Cunningham in this Michelin Chopper view here, gentlemen. So let's see. We see Brosecker getting a little loose here, and we're taking an eye on the 9. Ooh.
Well, actually, that's a pretty weird one. You see 3 cars all get loose coming out of turn 2 all at the same time there. If this wasn't virtual racing, I'd say there was maybe something on the track, but maybe it's just the tires heating up there coming off at 2. It caught everybody by surprise.
Yeah, that was definitely a interesting slide there, kind of seeing how that one came about. Let's try to see if I can get another angle of this one here. 12 gets into the 9. Ooh, wow. Car blinked out right there. Caused a little trouble. Look at Villalobos kind of get past that one. Good move by him. So those 3 cars seem to be the ones that were tied up in that one. Let's give a we do a lot of ride-alongs here, and I want to give a ride-along here with Villalobos and kind of see what he saw getting along here. Let me see. So what does this mean for some of those drivers out here? You know, what should we expect? You know, when we see something like this, as I work on getting this replay set up here.
Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, well, I mean, you see three guys getting loose off the corner like that, and it just makes you wonder if they're running hard at the beginning of the race, just doing everything that they can to make up these spots while they can. It's going to be more and more difficult to pass as time goes on. So you're pushing really hard, and you don't have the downforce on the nose because you're back in traffic. And then I think Kynan was saying before the race, we were experiencing a lot of loose condition on corner exit to begin with. And I mean, it just looks like the tires are hot and guys just aren't ready for it.
Man.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, like you were saying there, man, it's just a difficult one to see and really to put in perspective for some of these drivers out there. It happens so fast, really where to be at the right time, as we took a quick little slow-mo there with Villalobos there in the 78. So he was able to avoid that, but Villalobos decided to pit to go ahead and kind of come in, maybe make a quick adjustment or whatnot. But he's back out on the track. I mean, he's now 18th position, and almost about where he started. I don't believe he's moved up or down at this point here, Kynan. And it's difficult to see where we're getting ready to go. These guys are getting ready to double stack here and get back underway. So really, we haven't made it to the first stage yet. We got our first caution here. What should these drivers start looking out for? What is the the changing of the track and what's getting ready to happen to these next gen vehicles?
What I'll be really looking at is how the tires are feeling after that short little stint we had, because that's when drivers are going to be really pushing the hardest, so then they're going to be building up the most temperature in the tires. So depending on how the car will start to feel, maybe you might want to step it back a little bit. But what Villalobos might be doing right now is just pitting for fuel, just so then if we do go green to the end of stage one, then he'll be in a better position to pit, just in case everyone else still needs to. But we're going back to green. So far, keeping it all clean, no real checkups in the back.
So far, so good. Looks like Nick Alford has gone ahead and moved his way. Staying in the second position, they're still fighting around with another driver out there, the 16 car, I believe. That looks like Edward Marshall, but for some reason... Oh, okay, hold on. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We got a couple 16 cars out here. I think there's a little tussle up here. I believe that is Mathia there. And that's 16 machine, but he should be the number 1 on our ticker there. Sorry, the side of the car and our ticker are showing two different things, but he should be the number 1 car that is sitting behind Nick Alford there. But interesting to see that car where he's at, working his way up. He's one position up from where he started. And Jeremy Richmond getting a little slower restart, a little more single file, 1, 2, 3, and 4 out here on the track. So Robert, really, I'm interested to see. We aren't seeing these guys really door to door as much as I thought we would.
Well, yeah, and I was wondering about that. In the short amount of practice I had before the race, it seemed like the high line just really wasn't where you wanted to be. I kind of expected to see these guys, in a one-lane racetrack. Looks like the 95 gets a really good run off the corner there. See if he can do anything about it down the back straightaway. But you start creeping up the track and you lose so much time on corner entry. You're not making it up on corner exit, and until you get back in the pack, it just seems like it's kind of a one-lane track. It's going to be difficult to pick up positions.
Yeah, I believe this was the track they ran last part of the season. Last season got going. Don't take my word for it. I can't remember the winner of that race. I'm not sure if it was Fifield at that race that won that at the end of the season 2, I believe. Getting going there. I'd like to see some of those ones out there in the chat. If you've been joining in with us here at 10-4 Broadcasting, I could definitely use that fact check. And somebody tell me who won the end race of season 2.
Oh, we got the 24 on the wall.
Yes, we do. 24 into the wall, which is now going to bring up a 3-wide condition here, Kynan.
Yeah, the one was able to see the 24 and the 95 not really being able to carry as much speed as they wanted. Is going to be able to keep it on the low line. 95 overdriving turn one is going to lose out on the mid corner, but is going to have that extra momentum just from running a little bit higher up, and is going to be able to clear the one currently showing 16 on track, but it is secretly the one. One being able to have that low line is having a lot more grip than 95 and is going to be able to clear him easily.
Yeah, and just like you were saying there, Robert, no, that high line is really not where you want to be running right now. Nick Alford, I think, having to unfortunately ride that, no choice of his own, seeing that Riley Hoots has jammed him up higher than he wants to be, so lost a little bit of traction there. So now the fight for second place between Riley Hoots and Nick Alford here really shaping up to be a good one. Looks like Riley Hoots might duck on off, and the 95 get a heck of a run here, diving into 3.
He's going to pull up even next to him off the corner. We'll see if he side drafts him here because they're going to have the draft on the outside. Might end up losing a spot to the 24 here if he can carry the momentum into the turn 1 here.
Yeah, what a battle for the lead this is starting to become. Nick Alford here really starting to kind of having to pick and choose his angle. Yeah, there we go. As I hope it would get a lot closer. Yeah, get a lot closer, get that door draft off of him, and try to push him a little higher into that turn to get the favorable line as he goes ahead, takes the lead. But boy, 16 comes up with a lot of speed right there.
Yeah, the 95 drove it down into 3 pretty hard, trying to clear him, and it looks like it worked out.
Yeah, we will have to see if Nick Alford can hold him off for now. These guys battling something fierce, getting this thing pulling away from the field. Jeremy Richmond is about a second off the lead already, and that is just 4th place. Redinius right there in the 5th position. He's back by over a second. So a lot of these cars, 1st through 5th already, all Chevrolets. So that seems to be the car make for the night, putting a lot of space and time on this field. Oof. Little net code there, a little body scraping. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, I said the sparks fly up. Kynan, what do you think's going on with the tire wear right now? It seems like, to me, like the 24 is trying to save his tires by comparison to these 2 in front of him.
Yeah, he definitely seems to be doing something different with the tires. Either he's burnt them up or he's just deciding to ride. He did get very tight on corner exit a couple laps ago and did get into the wall, so maybe that's also affecting the car, but looks like he may have found a second win, so maybe just recuperating himself and getting back into a racing mindset. Robert, how do you really refresh yourself after making a small mistake, getting in the wall, and then how do you just bring yourself back and get back into a rhythm?
Well, it depends on how hard you hit the wall. If you hit the wall really hard, sometimes it can stay in the back of your mind for a few laps. If you hit it pretty soft, I don't think he hit it that bad. So in his situation, especially in these cars, he's probably already out of his mind. He's back to it.
And if that's something is, really clipping the wall and ended up with any sort of body damage, the key is not to let it dwell on you. All you start thinking about is, oh man, how's that damage going to affect me? And, you're talking to your spotter, things like that, really, is the fender going to start contacting the tire? Is this going to start being an aerodynamic problem? And is this something you can, quickly fix on pit road when you come in with tires when not really, sacrificing any time down pit road? But Nick Alford right now leading the race. Brendan Mathia there in 2nd. Riley Hoots 3rd. Jeremy Richmond 4th. And Zachary Denius there in the 5th position to round out our top 5. Alan Bledsoe, William Britton, Jeffrey Goodpaster. Good to see him moving up very quickly. Brandon Fetterplace, we saw him all the way in the back in 9th. And Christopher Miller hanging out there in the 10th position in that 12. We'll take a peek at him in a little bit. But right now it looks like Riley Hoots is trying to make a shot there for 2nd. I don't think he'll have the speed here, Kynan, as you see him kind of sliding back in behind him and trying to work that draft.
Yeah, he's been able to get back into a proper mindset on just starting to slowly chip away of the 1/16, depending on however you want to really look at the car. Our timing say the 1, but on track it says 16, but seems like he's maybe just, after making that small mistake, just backed himself up a little bit and is going to look to the inside of the 16. Now he's got to be careful not to drift up into him. Seems to be keeping it nice and steady, but the 16 is going to be able to carry that extra momentum on the high line and will also benefit from the 95's draft. 24 is going to look back to the inside, keeping it down low, not wanting to let up any chance of letting it slip, but is going to be able to carry that speed. Getting a little bit loose, the 16 is going to think about looking to the inside, going into 1.
Boy, yeah, look at that. Riley Hoots definitely trying to hold off Mathia there in the number 16 car that we see in third place. Really, these two have been battling it out for a good, 10, 15 laps or so. Nick Alford enjoying seeing that behind him because it's kind of holding those guys up. But we've seen this before. This is kind of the same song and dance from Riley Hoots. He kind of conserves those tires for about four to 8 laps, and then all of a sudden can turn it on. As you see, he picks up a boatload of speed right there, trying to get back in that aerodynamic bubble and try to reel in Nick Alford before he gets away.
The tire savings are starting to pay off now.
Boy, yeah, right there. As you can see him reeling him in. So, man, he's got him right in his sights, exactly where he wants him. But, man, you hate to see it. Now, Nick Alford there in the 95. About to be a sitting duck there for Riley Hoots. At this point, let's say, I'll throw this one to Kynan. At this point, is now a good time to start blocking that 24 car? Or, to stay out here in the lead? Or you just let him go on by and follow the leader?
Right now, I'm just wanting to run my own race, figure out where I can really work better and try figure out and learn as much as I can on these early stages to then try benefit in the long run. We can see Nick Alford is struggling a bit more for grip than the 24, who's going to put it to the inside and should be able to clear him. But right now, I'm not going to be wanting to fight. I don't want to risk making enemies or getting involved in some sort of little incident. I just want to take it easy, ride the car out, and learn as much as I can.
All right, man. I wasn't sure. I mean, look at it this way. The top 3 are over about a second in front of 4th and 5th, as it looks like Riley Hoots goes ahead, and he's now taking the lead. Alford now having to dial it back and follow the leader. And I know I was talking to you guys earlier about that clean air, and that's why I wasn't sure if it'd be a good idea to block, because, man, I just hate to be, back now playing chase in dirty air, figuring that if the leader had passed me at this point, is Alford looking that he may lose back into 3rd place at this point. But a lot of decent racing out there. Let's see if we can find one of these other guys out here. Let's see how Brosecker's doing after that kind of spin out. See where he ended up. Brosecker back here in the 11th position, so let's try to see him reeling in that 25 car, and Ian Janicek there. See how that works out for him. About 3/10 off the rear bumper of him, doing pretty well. Let's see Brandon Fetterplace. We saw him in the back there for a while. He's hanging out here in the 7th position. He is 12 positions up from where he started from winning that Toyota machine. And I believe he was the winner of the LA Coliseum race. I believe that Clash, he won that one, if I'm not mistaken there, Kynan.
You would be correct. He ended up winning it after Riley Hoots on the restart just spun up the wheels and went up into the wall, and that then gave Better Place the lead and then wasn't really able to be challenged, so he was able to pick up the win and grab an extra 20 bonus points going into the season, but started towards the back today and has been running up near the wall, probably just getting a feel for what it is like up there, but good to see him really start closing his way back up the field.
Yeah, gave a quick little peek there. Looks like William Britton has gone ahead and brought it down pit road. Maybe trying to get that early pit stop and see if he can get that thing back squared away. Maybe he's not liking the way he's feeling that one. Alan Bledsoe has gone ahead and passed Jeremy Richmond, so Bledsoe in the 42 machine has passed that 98. So Bledsoe super fast during practice, is really starting to kind of aim and picking these guys off as he's worked his way up 3 positions up from where he started. But here we are. Really, in the top, I believe, see a 25 machine. Actually, there's only, in the top 10, every single one of them is a Chevrolet, except Brandon Fetterplace in the 7th position. That is a Toyota. So, I'm wondering if maybe this car model is just the style that works for this track the best.
Well, I'm not sure who it is who keeps hitting the wall off turn 4, but I'd want whatever car they don't have right now, because I mean, it's going to start adding up over time if you keep hitting the wall. And this battle back here from about 7th to 15th is just wild. These guys are racing really hard back here.
Yeah, it does look like Matthew Wilson. We saw him kind of clipping that wall there pretty bad. He's got a little bit of side damage there. So he may have to spend a little bit of time during the caution or when we come up on that stage break at 52. Really kind of, you know, I would sacrifice the positions, get that thing hammered out, because if there's one thing I don't want at Homestead here, or any track in general, is any kind of aerodynamic problem. I mean, it just puts more wear on the tires, a harder turning. To me, it just changes the entire way the car drives. And some people can power through it, and other times the car doesn't want to go with you. As you can see, the 48 up there riding that turn again. So, got to be careful before it starts cutting into that tire.
Yeah, the cars are getting really tight now, and it's starting to show. But you know, the good news is the track's widening out quite a bit more than I thought we would see at this point, and that's really good. It's going to bode well for the racing as we move forward here on these long runs.
Yeah, it looks like Matthew Wilson is trying to run down Jeffrey Goodpaster here in the 33. So we are looking at the battle here for 13th and 14th. Goodpaster going to go ahead and kind of check him off and let him go on by. Gutsy move there by Goodpaster, seeing that 48's been clipping that wall a little bit, having a little trouble with that. But really, you see up there in the top 10, these guys are all spaced apart by at least half a second for most of these drivers. So no real battles going on with any of those guys. I mean, I believe the two JKR Motorsports between 5 and 6, those guys are the closest so far. Yeah, so like you were saying, they are very, very spread out here. And, you know, really, is there any sort of pit strategy? Now, this is for both of you. Is there any sort of pit strategy here at Homestead that seems to work out the best? I mean, is it kind of dumb to only take right side tires here?
It depends on how much time you have left here. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the fuel window is, but going to lap 52, I feel like we're going to be close with 65% fuel load. So, you know, I mean, if you can make it to lap 52, then you don't pit. That's your strategy. If you are going to be a few laps short, then you're stuck with trying to decide if you want to split it in half. And it looks like we haven't really had anybody come down pit road yet, so nobody's taken that strategy. You know, I've always found that on the mile and a half, if you can run, you know, you either want to pit with everybody else or you want to run a few extra laps if you're going to have a long green run. That way you can be on offense at the end and, you know, be the aggressive one as you're coming to the end of the stage or to the end of the race. What do you think, Kynan?
I'm the exact same. In another league, we run Xfinity, and on the intermediates, I have decided to go 2 to 5 laps extra, so then I can run it out, just conserve the tires earlier on, and then most of the time I come in, take right tires only, which I have done on this track, and it does work out. It's very loose though, so you have to be very careful, but I have found that just shaving off those couple seconds, and then I'm able to nurture the car, and I prefer a looser car, so I prefer to be a lot more aggressive towards the end when it really matters.
All right, looks like 3 of those JKR Motorsports vehicles are in. Nick Alford, Jeremy Richmond, and Zachary Denius there in the 99. So the 95, 98, and 99 vehicles are in pit road. Definitely taking a different route. Quick throwback there when William Britton was passing Brandon Fetterplace there. William Britton was running a 33.6 and Fetterplace was running a 35.6. So it just goes to show you how those new tires are working out. You know, when there's over a 2-second fall off, and Britton has already been, he pitted back on lap 28. So his tires are almost 10 laps old, you know, and he's still 2 seconds faster than the rest of the field. You know, it's definitely going to be a kind of a play up on this track, you know, with 6 sets of tires. I'm assuming at each stage break, you've got to take tires. You know, I would probably take all 4. I think it'd be suicide not to take all 4. But really under these green flag pit stops, I just don't know if you know, only taking right sides may kind of boost you up later on, or would it make one side of the car tight and then you're battling it for the rest of the night?
Well, taking
just
right
quick
side.
update.
Oh, go ahead, Kynan.
Just quick update on Fetterplace. He announced previous lap by that he was pitting, and then he tried to get slowed down, but he wasn't able to make it to pit road, so that almost caused a wreck when he had to come back up on track, but did cost him a lot of time, but he was able to get back in, took 4 tires this time.
Yeah, I think 4 tires is the right call, Patrick. If you take right sides, the car is going to be super loose, probably. You know, and with really hot left side tires, cold right side tires, you're asking for trouble, especially with these Gen 7 Cup cars. But you know, it's definitely an option for you at the end of the race. You know, if you're somebody who wants to roll the dice, it's certainly an option for you. And if it can get you a little bit of time on track, then it might be the right call. It looks like Riley Hoots is still on track here though, and they're going long, which I think is the right call if you're the leader. But I'd expect to see him soon.
Yeah, the top 4 have yet to pit. Top 3, Kelly Thomas actually in the 51 machine that we're looking at right here, pit back on lap 8 along with Edward Marshall in the 16. James Brosecker also pit on lap 8 and Bill Lobos on lap 8. So we did talk about those guys pitting, just a little bit earlier, probably getting that splash of fuel like we talked about, and then, they're able to extend this just a little farther. I don't know if those 8 laps would get you closer. I mean, to get to this stage break here at 52. But I would assume, everybody else may be pitting back at that stage break and then be able to get that thing squared away. Kynan, my moderator, go out there and strike them down because I cannot stand when the people do that.
They're going into timeout. They have been very naughty.
There you go, as we will call you King Arthur, and get out there with Excalibur and slash them down because I'm sick and tired of seeing that out there in my chat. I have yet to see any of you guys out there, especially, where is Shane Hoots? I haven't seen Shane Hoots out there going and saying anything. I believe Green Tint Gaming, where are you? I haven't seen you out here. So, man.
I believe Riley Hoots is coming to pit road now.
Oh, is he? Let's see. 24, we're taking a look at him. Yes, he is. All right, Riley Hoots coming down pit road right now, so, boy, man. Quick pit entry.
It's going to be interesting to see where he comes out here. I mean, he's going to be way faster than these guys who pit earlier, but he's definitely not coming out with the first position.
No, he's not. But he's got a lot to run down here. From the back to the front. I mean, even having 2 seconds faster. I'm just trying to give William Britton, how he pit. When he took tires. If it's really out of the ordinary, would it be possible? I don't think I saw tires go on.
Yeah, I mean, on lap 8, I'm not sure I would take tires. Definitely take fuel, fix a little damage. But I think you got to save tire sets for the end. You're already in the back. You're not going to be making up too many spots there. So maybe he's been doing everything he can for fuel save. If you're fuel saving, you picked up some fuel on lap 8. I think he can definitely make it to the end of the stage here.
Yeah, look at that. And it looks like Riley Hoots, I did not see his car come up 4 tires on that one, so he is in the 8th position. And that seems to be kind of what Riley Hoots and Matthew Batby do here in the High Octane Sim Series. They hold off in the earlier stages and save that one set of tires for the end. And I believe it was Rockingham that we saw that they saved tires, had 12 to go, worked up about 9 spots. They placed 1, 2. And 3rd place went to another driver, which, but it showed Riley Hoots being able to capitalize and get out there. So, I'm wondering, go ahead, sacrifice now. You're going to dial it back. You're not going to, place high in the stage. He has led some laps. So he knows he has the speed, but he wants to try to save it closer to that lap 173 checker flag.
Yeah, sometimes it's better just to sacrifice some of your early race to maybe lose a couple positions. But if you have that extra set, if in that final stage we start getting a bunch of cautions and people start coming in, taking tires, but then you have that one extra little set and then a caution comes out with 10 to go and no one else has tires, but you have that extra set, you're going to be a lot quicker than everyone. Even though it's only 10 laps left, that 10 laps is going to be going by very quickly, especially for people on new tires.
Yeah, Edward Marshall out here leading the race here in that KOA campground car. Definitely making a pretty good move here, staying out front. He's 4 seconds in front of the 78 car Villa Lobos there, 7 seconds off James Brosecker. So a lot of gap he has here, but we'll have to see how long he can hold that out. Can he make it to the stage caution? If he can, this will work out perfectly for him, and this is exactly what is working into his game plan. Quick little pit stop for some tires and fuel, and he'll be back out there fresher than everybody else.
Yeah, you know what not taking tires on the green flag pit cycle there says to me is just massive confidence in your ability to get back through this pack into the front after the stage break. I mean, Riley Hoots is back in 8th. Looks like I believe the 98 may have taken a similar approach there and is back in 7th. You know, they have confidence in their ability to make it back to the front here.
Yeah, a lot of guys. It's an interesting way to see different angles of the race here. You know, whether to take tires, whether not take tires, how much fuel. I mean, I'm wondering if, you know, somebody like Riley Hoots just put in just enough, a quick splash to get him through this stage. Is he still planning on coming down during the stage caution, you know, probably for the 4 tires and the full tank of fuel there? But interesting to see him boomerang out of there so much faster than everybody else. But this is going to be a tie-up for a lot of drivers who are having to pit again. You know, right now, everybody 10th on back is a lap down. So it's going to show you the pit strategy is definitely playing up on this track. Dang. Kind of which track was it that a caution came out and it put almost the entire field behind? Was that Texas?
I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah, it was like everybody 8th on back was a lap down. And yeah, and it tangled the field up. Fortunately, there were a few cautions there, got, you know, most of the guys back up front, and we're able to get that thing squared away, you know, and put people back in contention. But, you know, I was gonna say, Robert, even last night I believe it was Travis Gilbert 3 laps down and still came out top 10 toward the end, so that worked out well for him. But man, we're boiling down here, about 2 to go before the caution flag comes out.
Yeah, and Edward Marshall's just stretching his legs out here for the stage win. We got a pretty decent battle here for second for the stage at the moment, though.
Back here with Nick Alford. Let's see how he does around there with James Brosecker. Looks like Brosecker may be falling off pretty bad there in the 3 car.
Yeah, looks like he may have had a moment there. Or maybe Nick's on the fresher tires there. He had closed up on him pretty quickly.
Yeah, as we look here, look at that 99 car. So Zach is definitely putting the moves on right there. Let's see how he works his way around the 3. Yeah, seems to be with ease. So I'm wondering if these guys have tires, and the 3 car did decide not to. He is one of the vehicles that did pit back on lap 8, and that was about a 58-second pit stop for him. So a lot of guys with some speed. I see Villalobos, his pit stop was about 31 seconds. That would be from start to finish there, but really, that will be the end of the stage right there, guys. So a lot to review over here as Edward Marshall goes ahead, takes away that stage win. Nick Alford tried to run him down, but had a long way to go. Zachary
man,
Denius,
these boys almost running over each other here.
in the top 3, yeah.
Catching up to the pace car. But everybody got out of that okay.
Yeah, definitely having to be careful out there. These guys do chomp at the bit to get this thing back underway, you know, but really I wonder if Edward Marshall just ran out of gas.
Yeah, I think you're on it. I'm looking here. Edward Marshall, I don't believe he or Brosecker pit at all.
48.
Yeah, I believe they're both out of fuel here.
Yeah, 48 looks like he's pushing the 3. Oh,
I'd be interested in the rule book on that one.
Holy cow, and there's Fetter Place giving Edward Marshall a good push, getting these guys down in the pit. As Edward Marshall's got to figure out how to get this thing carefully back into pit road.
That's a great teammate right there who's willing to push you to pit road when you run out of gas.
Oh, no. So Edward Marshall goes ahead and survives the stage, but just can't seem to make it to pit road. This is going to be heartbreaking for that 16 machine, as I'm not quite sure.
He's going to have to tow if he can't get it to pit road. That's going to be... He's not going to be able to make it from here. That's going to be his race if he has to tow.
I was watching him for the past 10 laps towards the end of that stage. He was in 4th gear and he was redlining throughout that entire time. So I would have been watching my fuel very closely, really early on, figuring out when I need to start saving fuel. But Edward Marshall has just taken the tow and is now going to lose more time.
That's a great point, Kynan, because I mean he's got a 10-second lead. He knows he's got to stretch the fuel. It just seems like a mistake to keep running that thing in 4th, redlining it down the straightaway. You're burning so much more fuel there than in 5th, and with such a big lead, there's just no need for it.
Yeah,
he's going to regret that one probably.
Yeah, you could almost clutch it there toward the end, you know, and then that way you could go ahead and save even more than that. I've heard of guys even shutting the engine off when when you've got that kind of a lead stretching the fuel as far. But we'll have to see how long or how much that costs that 16 car of Edward Marshall. Not quite sure. When you guys said redlining, I started getting nervous that that engine may have been sent to the moon at this point. But I'm hoping his car is okay and just out of fuel.
Well, the good news about these Gen 7 cars is that they don't run any tape at all. So you can run your RPMs up to, 9,600, 9,700 without blowing the engine on them because they have, all that air that can come in through the opening in the front of the car. So, I mean, you can really do it, but when you're pushing 9,600 RPMs down the straightaway, you're absolutely burning fuel at a rate that, it's as high as it's going to get.
Man, and the more you know. As we see, no tape. Interesting. So really, how were these guys able to make any kind of front downforce change?
Well,
Legally.
Yeah, legally is a good point. Well, what you do is you put tape on the front corners of the bumper when nobody's looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you don't have that in-race adjustment with these vehicles. You can't add tape. There's none there to start with. It's what you bring is what you got when it comes to downforce.
Wow.
Looks like the 16's gone 2 laps down now, unfortunately, as well.
Yeah, I figure that's got to be at least a 2.5 minute tow, and then to see what he has in pit with Edward Marshall there. And actually, let me see if I can. He's not gonna be happy about this, but we're gonna see if we can get a hold of him. See if I can get a hold of Mr. Edward Marshall. Ooh, no.
I'm not sure I'd want to. Oh, there he is. See him down on voice channel 2.
Yeah, it's not letting me grab him. I'm wondering if he's Krabby Pattied me. Not real happy.
Looks like he's back on track now, so he was able to stay 2 laps down, didn't go a 3rd lap.
Boy, but man, that is just so much ground to make up for that 16 car.
Especially since it's been such a clean race so far. I mean, we've only had the stage caution and 1 additional caution so far, so yeah, that's going to be difficult. We have 4 or 5 cars that are 1 lap down as well, fighting for the lucky dog, so it's going to be a big time uphill battle for him.
Yes, it is. But right now, William Britton there in the 64, showing that short pit really worked out for him. He may be another set of tires down from the set, what kind of the style Riley Hoots was running here. We see, like I was talking before, he had about 2 seconds speed lapse, so he was able to kind of go into pit. And I'm not sure if he got tires there on lap 54 or not, but he is right now. He's got the lead. So, and really, sometimes that's all that really matters, and that's what counts, is being able to get up front there and get this thing underway. I do not know if we're going to have an extension of caution here. Looks like we got 1 car kind of getting a little mixed up here where to be. Let's see if the pace car ducks on off. Yep. All right. And kind of, we're about to put it back under green as we line up for that Geico restart zone, and away they go.
99 holding back a lot, allowing the 64 just to have a really good head start going into turn 1. Nick Alford keeping it down low, not really wanting to drift up high, low line being the preferred line, but so far no real issues further on back. Nick Alford is currently having a bit of a blinking session. Didn't notice it's 1990 again.
I'm wondering if Zach in that 99 machine actually slowed on that restart to let Nick Alford go ahead and get in front and jam Riley Hoots up here into the wall. If that was the plan, it's working perfectly. But there Riley Hoots goes there toward the inside, so he gets a little bit of his strategy right back as Zachary Denius here in the 98 is going to have to figure out how to get back to the low line on that preferred side so he can get some more speed here.
Yeah, I think on the restart there, Patrick, what's happening is they're running the restart zone. And if these guys aren't even coming into the restart zone, they can't speed up to catch that lead car. the control car on the restart, otherwise they get a black flag. So if you get behind the 8-ball there, you're kind of stuck, laying off of them more than you'd like to be, and we see that every now and then with the restart zones. We saw it a lot in my last race at Phoenix as well.
Boy, all right, well, and that's something we'll keep an eye out for. Right now, Nick Alford has gone ahead and taken the lead away from William Brittain there. Man, really, he's having to make a lot of speed there in that 95 machine. I think this is where I expect to see Nick, and as fast as he's been all night. But I just don't know if Riley Hoots, how much time. We have seen his car; it'll settle in and then start picking up a lot of speed. But you kind of really got to pick and choose where you're going to go. Alan Bledsoe is starting to put a little work on Zachary Nunez there in the 99. There we go. Here comes Jeremy Richmond toward the inside of Fetter Place, so going to jam that 20 car up toward the top. Boy, a lot of battling out here, guys.
3 wide here for a moment.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
See if he can maintain it on the outside.
Oh,
contact.
Well.
Oh, that's going to be a
most likely
caution there.
Lock it down, lock it down.
Richmond's-
There you go.
Jeremy Richmond's rear left is broken.
A little disagreement over space coming off of turn 4 there, Kynan.
Yeah, how do you really cool yourself down after getting involved in a wreck? Because we know it's very easy to get back onto the radio and yell at someone, but how do you really keep yourself calm afterwards?
Well, the big thing that's going to help these guys here is that they do have that fast repair. Obviously, you don't want to use it, but that'll keep the blood from boiling too much. It's going to be that second incident is what will maybe make you a little more upset. I see the replay here.
Yeah, we did take a look there of Jeremy Richmond kind of coming out. As Jeremy Richmond always says, sometimes I just run out of talent. And I'm thinking that might have been the situation on this one with that 98 machine. Just kind of rode up the track just a little too much. I said we can roll that one more time.
See the in-car on the 98 there. See what exactly happened to him.
From my perspective, it looked like Bledsoe may have came down ever so slightly, right as the 98 was starting to merge up the track, thinking that the 42 was going to keep to a higher line, but on corner exit may have gone slightly loose and came down ever so slightly.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there, Kynan. I'm sure the 42 car would disagree with the assessment here, but they're 3 wide, and he's trying to make sure he's leaving space, for that car on the outside. And then the 98 is coming off the bottom, expected him to move up the track a little bit higher, and is kind of meet there. If you're the 98, you say the 42's got plenty of space up there to keep going up, maybe overreacting to the car on the outside. And if you're the 42, you say, well, the 98 drove in my door. So.
Yep. Yeah, that's almost what we're looking at here. Is kind of trying to get a good angle. And I'm trying to look at how the 42 is lining up with the seam here. See if we can pop.
Yeah, and if you're Brandon Fetterplace there, you're the most innocent victim in all of it. Yeah, I mean that's just a racing deal there. Just everyone taking a couple inches more than they probably should have, meeting in the middle.
Yeah, we want to think Brandon Fetterplace came out unscathed. He did not. Let's take a look at Fetterplace to see how. Oof.
Yeah, that one hurt.
Yeah,
that's gonna hurt more than it looks like, I think.
Yeah, that one's
gonna need to come down and do some repairs.
Yep, he's gonna switch that car up. Take a quick look at the 10-4 front suspension looks here. Nothing there on the right front. Let's take a look at the left front. All right, well, it doesn't seem we got any fenders.
Good.
Yeah, we don't have any fenders hammered down, so that's at least a good sign there for that 20 machine. But I know it's kind of one of those ones. Now you talk to the crew chief and the spotter. Hey, man, how bad does it look? And figure out, do we need to bring it down and get this thing squared away? And he is. So he's getting this thing down pit road, quick touch and go. And really, this might be an idea for some of those guys to come down, top off on fuel, and see if they can do that Edward Marshall move and keep this, back out and up front here.
Well, I think a lot of those guys are probably planning to make it without pitting because you have the additional laps from the stage caution there, under caution. But topping off here, you're definitely good to the end, I think.
All right, we'll be looking up there at that ticker. Lap 104. That'll be our next scheduled stopping point, and get this thing squared away. Jacob Fifield, how's the race been going? It's actually kind of wishy-washy out here, bud. I really, there's no real strong driver out here. You know, we get Nick Alford been swimming around a bit up front. Reedy Neas in the 99. We had a little tangle up there with Jeremy Richmond in the 98. So we'll see if he is able to make it back out here onto the field. He does, 2 laps down. And, you know, it's just we're kind of having a back and forth with a lot of the drivers. Brandon Fetterplace is another driver who's moved up. Right now, so far, 11 positions from where he started. So, you know, once again, we got Chevys all the way till the 10th position, Brandon Fetterplace being the only Toyota, and William Britton in the 2nd position and the only Ford. So it's hard to see who's strong and who's not, but I'm assure you, Jacob Fifield in the 45 machine, our winner for last week. We definitely miss you out here, bud, because I knew you were fast last season at this track, and definitely could use you out front showing these guys how it is done. Let's see who else we have out there in the chat. Stellar Stella. Couple cautions and gas prices have made some of the guys run out of gas on the track. It is possible, especially with the high octane that these guys do run. But quick look, Nick Alford, William Britton there up in the front. Looks like Michael Boyd, Villalobos in 5th. Janicek there in 6th. Kelly Thomas, Brandon Fetterplace 8th. Riley Hoots back in the 9th. And Brendan Mathia there in the 10th position. So let's go ahead, boys, up in the front. So Nick Alford's got this one for his all to himself in that restart zone, and here we go.
Yeah, big jump for those guys up front. Both of the guys in the front row there just took off.
Yeah, a lot of big moves. Alford gets a great jump off there, but not without Britton quickly behind. You know, really kind of keeping it close.
Oh man. 25 got really loose on corner exit there. Really great save. It's really difficult in these cars. It doesn't look like it's that big, but I guarantee you in the driver's seat it felt like there was no chance of saving that thing, and he barely pulled it off. You'd love to see it.
Yeah, great move by him being able to keep that thing off the inside wall. We did catch it on the outside or just the very edge of our screen there as he was kind of sliding toward the inside wall. Fortunately, that was all paved and not grass, or otherwise he would definitely be eating the concrete there on the inside. So really, Britton here trying to keep Nick Alford close. So we'll see how he's doing, but let's see. Let's see how Brandon Fetterplace is doing. I know he's been having a little work up here on the outside line. Ooh, boy, is he getting ready to run up Michael Boyd right there, kind of running out of some room. Using him right now, I'm assuming, for the draft, and then it's probably going to follow Riley Hoots toward the inside here, kind of. So really, you know, if you're Brandon Fetterplace, you kind of see he's kind of between a rock and a hard place. Seemed to do a real great job for him right there. Up 12 spots, so he's still on the move.
Yeah, the 81 that previous time by had gotten very tight in entry on turn 1 and just drifted way up the track, which allowed Fetterplace to really put the nose up the inside. Was able to then, in turn 3 and 4, 81 again getting very tight on entry and just being able to, and we're back on the yellow.
Oh no.
Not sure what happened there. I don't see any cars stopped on track.
So cars involved were the 3, 33, and 54.
3, 33, and 54, huh? All right, let's see if we can get this 10-4 replay worked up for you here and kind of see what exactly happened with that one. I think this one may be a quick show and tell. Let's see what we got. We're going to look at Brosecker here in the 3. Ooh.
Oh, man.
I'm surprised that brought out a caution.
Yeah, me too, kinda. They got it corrected pretty quickly.
I'm sorry. Did you see the 3 kind of facing backwards and then whipping back forward? I think Jeffrey Goodpaster went ahead and straightened his car back up for him. That was crazy. I don't know how, you know, that didn't end up worse than it did.
Yeah, I want to see him catch it. See him catch it from that in-car angle here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's get that Wood Michelin chopper view. Let's kind of see how this pinch squeeze right there. And the 48 able to get by as well. Boy, that was a close one for Wilson. But, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and look at that 3 car and get that in-car view. Kind of, facing the fans, and then all of a sudden, back in front. Let's go. Here we go.
And knowing the Ford Fiesta WRX and the Volkswagen Beetle WRX,
Wow.
if you get too sideways, you can slam on the handbrake and gas it up, and the car will self-straighten out. And that's kind of what Brozeka's car did there.
Wow. Yeah, that was...
I'm not even sure he got any damage from it.
No, it looks like everything may be squared away. I believe he's going to come down pit really quick and go ahead and just make sure he gets that thing checked out. Everything's A-OK. There's James Brosecker down there in pit road. So, wow, looks like a 4-tire pit stop for him. So, he obviously wants to go ahead and get this thing back up into the top 10. Right now, he is sitting 14th. So, he's got to be careful where that pace car is getting ready to end up here. Let's take a quick peek for him.
It
Let's
looks
see
like,
where it is.
Everybody behind the top 4 came down and put tires on there, it looks like.
All right, yeah, he has plenty of time as I roll up that track map for you guys. So we're looking at the guy here in the 15th position going ahead and rotating around, and the pace car will be coming up on the stop-start-finish line. So he ended up with plenty of time to go ahead and get that thing back around. Man, and really, now what you want to see out of that 3 Goodrich car of James Brosecker.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that wreck was really his fault either, so I feel bad for him getting caught up in that. I think the 54 took the worst of it, though, with the shot to the nose. What do you think, Kyden?
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, but any form of damage that you can pick up, even if it's something that you can't get ironed out with the Xfinity cars, I'm sure you've found out multiple times that even if you don't necessarily have any damage to fix, you're still going to have a little bit of RPM damage, and then that could affect how much speed you're really being able to produce. But luckily the next-gen cars don't have that issue anymore. They used to be very sensitive. You can just as well as kiss a wall and suddenly you're down 10 miles per hour. But luckily iRacing has fixed that. But it does have a couple of other issues, like the wheels being very flimsy, so you don't really want to be taking any form of hits to the corners of the car.
All right, and let's talk about things that are not flimsy. Admin Box, one of our finest sponsors we have out there for the Haas High Octane Sim Series, and here at 10-4 Broadcasting. Check out adminbox.com. You can even use the promo code 10-4-box, and that'll knock that thing down to $125, so go check that out. Admin Box, a one-of-a-kind. Captain Jack's Smokehouse, another sponsor of High Octane Sim Series. Go check them out. Now, man, I'm going to get hungry after this one, so keep an eye out for them. And as always, W Energy Drinks. That will keep you awake, not jittery, not having the shakes real bad, especially when you're trying to hold the wheel or iRacing. Check W Energy Drinks out. Man, really, guys, this is shaping up to be a race. I'm curious to see how long these guys can hold it, and for really, the pit strategies are playing up something fierce here. With a lot of guys deciding to pit, not to pit. Really, I don't know what the right call would be in some of these situations, and I don't know if the drivers do either.
Well, I'll tell you who has the right call for the stage right now is everybody behind third place. So we have Brendan Mathia, Alan Bledsoe, and Riley Hoots, who last pit on lap 63. And then just about everybody behind them just came down and, I believe, got fresh tires. So it's going to be interesting to see. We didn't have that many green flag laps, but this is definitely a play to try to win the stage, I believe.
Yeah, definitely being able to put a lot of those cars behind you if you go ahead and play that strategy there. I believe this will probably mark that one to go. I'm hoping here pretty soon. And that pace car will turn those lights off. There we go. So there we go. That Ford Mustang up in the front, turning those pace car lights off. And being able to get this thing back underway. Villalobos, Kelly Thomas, and Brandon Fetter place 4, 5, and 6. I think they're quietly waiting their turn. Waiting to see if these guys are going to go ahead and jump and get up front. They went ahead as well pit on lap 71. Really, I think it looks like fourth on back pit. So, you're going to see a lot of fast cars from the back of this field start pushing their way up toward the front. Man, it's going to be hard to say, really, if what what the right call is here, Kynan. You know, I hate to see some of these guys in the situations like they did. Edward Marshall, unfortunately, ran out of fuel. Jeremy Richmond got turned around and broke his car. You know, a lot of your guys who run up front, I mean, they're now in the back, that being Richmond in 18, Edward Marshall in the 20th. So Brosecker was able to go ahead, come down pit road and pit. I believe I saw 4 tires go on that number 3 car, but he is sitting in 13th, and I'm sure he's got a lot of speed if any of these other guys didn't pick up tires as well.
I'm going to be keeping a close eye on Alan Bledsoe. He had pace in practice, but in the race just kind of fell back a little bit. But grab your pet alligator because we're back on the green.
Pet alligator, I'm sure Steve Irwin would like to get a hold of. But right now, it looks like Riley Hoots going ahead and diving toward the inside there.
We're going to be back on the yellow.
Hoots is wasting no time here.
No, we're able to keep it clean, sort of.
All right. Well, we must have been some bumping and banging in the back of this field here. Boy, look at this battle.
You gotta
Riley
be careful
Hoots.
sliding up.
Yes.
Man.
Yes, you do. Riley Hoots definitely feeling the heat cycling of those tires there, so he's having some trouble getting them to re-tack up and get stuck back to the track. Villalobos there showing what those tires can do, sitting on lap 71, his last pit, and see if Fetter Place goes ahead and follows suit and goes ahead and continues going around. But right now, that 78 has got some speed right now. Super fast, about, let's see, about 3/10 faster than the leader already. So we'll have to see if Riley Hoots, boy, gets, look at that there, Robert. Riley Hoots sends it into that turn and going to go ahead and hang on to that car, keep it on the inside, and away he goes.
Yeah, clean air helped him really good there in turn 3 as Villalobos got, you know, deep in the corner with the newer tires, but riding directly behind Mathia there, just really took the downforce off the front of the car, and Hoots is really hanging on well considering he's on the older tires here. I'm impressed.
Yeah, a lot of quick moves here by some of these drivers. Second and third place here, about half a second off the leader, so they're falling back already, so we'll have to keep an eye out. Plenty of time before that stage break here. Kynan, we're seeing, you know, really what, you know, where to go. Looks like Alan Bledsoe, your pick here, is unfortunately starting to kind of fall back here a little bit. He's kind of playing with that 5th position, as it looks like Fetter Place puts him there, but not so easy as Alan Bledsoe holding on to that place, putting the pressure on.
We're seeing just how much, even though it was a small little run we had, but we're just seeing how much tires are mattering, and also having clean air. Bledsoe isn't exactly putting his car where he is opting and preferably wanting to have his car, and that's just costing him time. So it is going to be good to know, but he's going to then have those tires, an extra set of tires for the end of the race if we start getting a couple more cautions, which hopefully we don't. Villalobos just ever so slightly catching the apron and is going to not be able to carry too much speed on the back straight. Bledsoe not close enough to really be able to capitalize, but Bledsoe is dropping back ever so slightly. Nick Alford getting right up to the back of the 42, but I expect to see him be able to march his way back up through the field. And just a quick note on Bledsoe. Earlier on, was involved with that incident with Jeremy Richmond, so he has not had the easiest night tonight, but is able to somewhat fight on old tires.
Oh, yeah, but if he was able to use that fast repair, I'm sure he's thanking his lucky stars he had one of those. Otherwise, he would definitely be in the back of the field right now, the 42 machine. The ATD Chevrolet, man, really doing a fantastic job here, really, for what he's been dished out so far in this race. We're almost coming up to the halfway point, and he is in 6th position, 2 spots up from where he qualified here today. So really, more of a comfortable spot from where he is and where his car is. But of course, he's always wanting to dig his way back toward the front. And a driver we haven't talked about a lot so far is, I believe, Christopher Miller here in the 12 machine. He's sitting there in front of Jeremy Richmond. Unfortunately, I believe he is 2 laps down still. But Jeremy Richmond's still fast out there in that 98 machine, getting in between those J. Carroll Motorsports vehicles. I'm interested to see, you know, if Christopher Miller is going to go ahead and have to pit again. I do not believe so. He pit on lap 71 as well. Jeremy Richmond pit on lap 61, but he was in there for a good while trying to get his car squared away after that last bang-up job he had there, really. But Robert, man, look at Fetter Place and Bledsoe going at it again.
Yeah, those guys seem to find each other on the track, don't they? You know, it seems like the tires are starting to really come in now. It looks like Mathia's really starting to fade. Man, all the way down on the apron coming out of.
Down here on the track here, Kynan, and it's starting to be kind of tough for some of these drivers. The race lines are having to change just a little bit. I can't say that the inside line, just from this perspective, is working out as good as it hopes, because I saw Villalobos get loose there toward the bottom.
He's big loose. He's done that a few times now.
Yeah,
Ryan, when you're driving a car that's that wicked loose, is there anything you can really do to help it?
Well, depending on, maybe he took 2 tires only in the pit stop, but other than that, there's not a lot you can really do. Maybe back up the corners and try different lines. If you're doing something wrong, then you may as well try something new and hope that it works out.
Yeah, as we catch Villalobos there, right there, again getting loose. So now the Mathia going to be able to go ahead and take off. I did notice, guys,
we're
here,
side by side for the lead ahead of them now, too.
Yeah, from the top. Just Villalobos getting low there and almost touching the white line. But right now, Nick Alford going ahead and taking that lead. Stellar out there on the chat. You're rooting for that 95 car, and the 95 car you shall have has gone ahead and resumed the lead here on lap 86. So really quite the battle for him. He has worked his way from the back to the front now and is now actually putting a lot of distance here on Riley Hoots just in that one lap. He's already 3/10 off and pulling away as we go.
Yeah, now that he's not in that dirty air, he's really going to show the difference with these tires. He's significantly faster than Riley Hoots right now.
Yeah, and a lot of speed these guys are getting out there. And I'll throw this one to, I'll throw it back to you, Robert. You've been saying it a bunch. For some of these guys out here who are not racing a whole bunch or anything like that, explain to me, other than the obvious, clean air and dirty air. What does it do for the car, and really, what makes the air dirty at this point?
Sure. Well, and these cars are more sensitive to it than a lot of the other stock cars that, when we run ovals. But basically, that whenever you're following another car, you don't have the stagnant still air to drive through. And what that does is it pushes the front of the car down, which creates downforce. It makes the front of the car stick. Is big contact there and a huge save by the 99. Man, that was. I wonder if there's a disagreement there, kind of. But man, that was a big time save by the 99. He's hanging on for dear life. But sorry, Patrick. But yeah, so when you're behind another car, you lose that downforce, and then you just all of a sudden you just get super tight. And these cars are worse than most. You'll do just about anything to get some clean air, and I mean you can see it with Nick Alford, who had fresher tires, and he struggled to get by Hoots, but the second he got by him and he had that clean air, he got all that additional grip on the front tires of the car. I mean, he's just driven away to over a second lead now.
Yeah, a lot of speed these guys are getting. I've heard even some people say that dirty air, it's hard for the engine to run at some points. You end up with the exhaust fumes getting sucked up into the intake, and you actually lose a little bit of that engine power. But it's kind of interesting to see, at a track like this, clean air is your friend, but at a track like Talladega, it almost isn't sometimes. You want to be in the draft, that way you can survive, because once you hop out of the draft, it's over for you.
Yeah, well, we're seeing a lot of the draft effect here at this racetrack as well. When these guys are coming off the corner, if you're not in the draft, you're struggling to maintain. It's making it difficult to get down underneath guys.
Yeah, as we're taking a little ride along here with Alan Bledsoe here, we kind of see him marching back here to the 7th position now, so he's kind of falling back there a little bit, but man, really kind of seeing how he's taking that turn and how low he's getting. Kind of having to feather that gas, be real nice and easy, especially with these cars. So I was definitely curious to see how his hands look here on the wheel if he's having to fight it around the track. Like I said, I am absolute, for lack of better terms, garbage at this track. I can't seem to, oh boy, as it kind of hang on, and I can't find a sweet spot. I kind of, figure about a car and a half length up the track seems to be where I like to be. some guys are able to hang down there on that white line. And it's kind of suicide for me. I can't seem to get the rear end of the car to stay stuck to the track. But some of these guys here tonight, I'm just wondering if it's, just car model or the frame. They're just able to hook up a lot better.
Lots and lots of practice. It takes time to learn that stuff. I'm sure these guys have been practicing all week for this race. But, even then, we've seen these guys have issues on corner exit anyway, so.
Yeah, we're taking a look. Alan Bledsoe in that Kenny Power Motorsports vehicle. He's got to see if he can find some of his friends out there and see if he can get pushing up there. Maybe and see if he can get up with Mathia up there in the one car, who is currently, I believe, running there in the 3rd place, but is 2.5 seconds off the lead. Kelly Thomas in the 51. There's another one, but I don't know. At this point, the 51 is in the 12th position, so Bledsoe kind of hanging out here by himself, unfortunately. So he's going to have to really just keep working and stay clean. It seems to be what we're doing here. 80 laps to go left in this race, and this should be a pile drive here toward the end, and I believe we only have 10 till stage caution. So really, do you just kind of mind your P's and Q's here, or do you keep charging, guys?
Go ahead, Kynan. What do you want to do right here?
Right now, I'm still just trying to take it easy, feel out what the car is going to do. Maybe try something a little bit different. Maybe if I drove the car too hard last in, I'll take it a little bit more easy this time, just so then I can feel how it's going. Maybe if I need to go a little bit more aggressive, or maybe I need to just lift up a little bit more. Maybe practice a bit of fuel saving. Try to figure out and learn as much as I can for that final sim. Because it doesn't matter if you lead every single lap now. All that matters is if you lead that final car and be the first to cross that checkered flag line.
Oh, and really,
Yeah,
this is starting
agree.
it's starting to heat up here pretty good, guys. We're kind of floating around the track here. I know I was taking a quick look at Jeffrey Goodpaster here in the 33 machine, seeing how well he can do, getting to see if get around Kelly Thomas in the 51 here as we're boiling down here, guys.
Yeah, 33 has been working him for that position for a while here, and he just keeps getting loose off the corner. Every time he gets close to him, he gets loose off of turn 2, and he loses all the ground that he's made up. And he's been faster than him for the last few laps, just struggling to get the pass done.
Yeah, it just seems that race line just keeps changing back and forth. Just one line works, and then you go to hit it, the following lap, and it's just starting to get a little weird. Really the way it feels. And I don't know, from the outside looking in, it looks like tire wear is definitely starting to set in for these drivers. And you've got to be careful. Keep your car in one piece, although the tires are failing you at this point. Yeah, but one person who their tires are not failing. Let's rotate up to him. 95. Nick Alford, man, guys, look, he has a 2-second lead off of Riley Hoots right now. So right now, Riley is definitely seems to be a short run car, and I'm thinking that is going to work out for that extra set of tires he saved. But if it keeps green like it's been like this, the nail might be in the coffin toward the end of the race. That I don't think there's there's not enough out of that 24 machine to run the 95 down.
Well, remember, Patrick, the 24's on 10-lap older tires right here, too, so I wouldn't count them out. But, the Riley Hoots and Nick Alford started 1-2 in this race, and they've taken 2 different strategies to get here, and they're running 1-2 right now. So I think those are your 2 to beat moving forward. But, there are other guys who have shown a lot of speed, too, Kynan. Who do you like right now?
Right now, I am liking Brendan Mathia. He has the fastest lap of a 33.265 that was put in the first stage of the race, but also is on the same pit cycle as the 24 of Riley Hoots. So he has the pace, but when he needs the tires, so it's going to be interesting to see if maybe we get a late run caution. Maybe it'll mix things up, but also got to keep an eye out on the 78, and if a bit of luck can go the way of Bledsoe, I wouldn't count him out with how he was running in practice. And practice doesn't mean everything, but it can give a good insight to who has pace.
like the way you think with Bledsoe here. Definitely trying to work on the inside of Edward Marshall. Edward Marshall still 2 laps down, but not out of competition racing. He loves being able to put it down. Oh, as we look at Bledsoe right here in the camera, getting loose on that turn. Not what you want to see. He's just got to make it 3 more laps to get to this stage caution, man. And really, that is going to cost him a couple spots there. Move him back to the 8th position. But he has got to be careful in these turns. That tire wear is definitely kicking his butt right now.
That cost him a couple of spots, but he saved his race. That was a great save coming off of that corner.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of battles out here on the track. I know, man, kind of, I know you're out there battling YouTube bots. I wish they'd go away, but it's a heck of some of these guys out here. I mean, let's see. Let's see how Fetterplace is doing. I know we flowed back to him. There we go. Brandon Fetterplace trying to put the moves there on Kelly Thomas. This is kind of a side-by-side race. I know these two have been kind of chasing each other for about 10 laps or so. They both pit on lap 71, identical.
This may be the race for the last stage point here with 2 to go in the stage.
Yeah, may be able to go ahead and get a top 10 shot for these two here. Nick Alford really still fast out there, still a 2-second lead on Hoots. But I don't know if, I don't think there's enough time. So really, right now, you might be seeing everything top 5 is probably going to be locked in. Don't know if Bledsoe has enough to get it going. Bledsoe still having some trouble out there staying hooked up. It looks like Bledsoe made some contact with the 25 machine. Started getting some more speed, getting that run, and then it looks like that car loosened up once again. So,
oh man, yeah. 16 gave him a little shot there coming off the corner. These guys are racing hard. I love what I'm seeing here from these guys so far. Just lots of good racing from the front to the back. I mean, everywhere in between.
Boy,
a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, and this hat being the stage caution, deep breath, man, because boy, these guys really having a heck of a time out here. I believe from my ticker here, we got 3 out. Monteville, Mattern, and Boyd are out. That will be the 03, the 22, and the 81. Those machines are out and have taken it to the garage for the night. And I believe, let's see, 15 on down to 20th are a lap down. Messer, Jeremy Richmond, Edward Marshall, I believe Cunningham. That should be Michael Cunningham and Robert Ballard Jr. All those guys are down some laps, and I believe that is also Paul Bojanic there is down 5 laps. So he's definitely got his work cut out for him. Nick Alford, your stage winner here on the second round. Man. Running that fast, now getting behind the pace car, you got, the key is to maintain calm, pull down pit road, while I assume everybody else will follow suit, and then go ahead and slap some tires on this car here as we're looking at Nick Alford going ahead and getting down here. Jeremy Richmond can go ahead and stay out, see if he can get one of his laps back. That way he's only got a battle for the lucky dog position with Messer, I believe. So our ticker is telling us. And we'll have to see how this works out for him. But, guys, this is rounding out to be a heck of a race here. Not as much as we saw at Watkins Glen. That ended up being a pretty spread out race. It does spread out after about 20 laps or so. But, man, it's nail-biting when everybody's so door-to-door.
Yeah, so far it's been a lot more compact than it originally. Oh, that's...
Oh, man. He just spun coming off pit road.
Good thing that iRacing had the ghosting just then.
Yeah, that definitely saved his day. That's going to cost him a ton of spots, though.
I want to roll that back. Let me take a quick peek at the replay here from a different angle. And let me see if how this changes. Did he make it off pit road before the spin? Past the cones? All right. Yeah, so he may have given up to Riley Hoots. Riley Hoots may be in the lead. I'd be really surprised to see it not put him back up in the second position there, guys, seeing that he crossed the cones.
It might. I'd be surprised if it put him all the way back to first. But let's see. He's making his way around right now.
All right, let me see.
See where he settles in here.
Yep, it's letting him pass.
Let's see where he ends up here. Get this replay up one more time. Let's see if we can find a different angle of
Looks
what
like it's
happened
putting
here.
him second here. I'd like to see the onboard view and see if, I mean, I'm assuming he just got too hard on the gas there, but.
Right
And now
there.
Riley Hoots is wondering why he's getting his position back after the after the spin here.
Yeah, it looks like he got him right
Oh.
there. Yeah, check here
Yeah,
on the
he
replay,
did. He
guys.
beat him.
Right here.
Yeah, he definitely beat him.
So that should be first, and then all of a sudden spun out. And like you said, kind of good thing for ghosting, man, because that just that did not work out for that car. Let's go
the
ahead.
95 of Nick Alford was just given an EOL penalty by race control here, actually, so he's heading to the back. So iRacing gave him his spot back in first, and race control has overridden that and is sending him to the back of the line here.
Really?
Yeah, I know. That's an interesting call there.
Yeah, that is going to undo Nick Alford's race here, if that is to be.
Kind of, you've asked me a couple of times so far in this broadcast, you know, how do you rebound from a certain situation, whether it's a wreck or you know, getting into the wall. Now I've got one for you. How do you rebound from being the leader of this race, spinning out coming off a pit road, getting your spot back, and then race control sending you all the way to the back? How are you feeling right now if you're the driver of that 95 car?
It's really hard to say. It's just a flurry of emotions. Like, yes, I've beat him. Oh no, I'm suddenly around. But then it's given me my position back. So it's like, okay, I've just overheated the tires. I just need to take it easy early on, and then next minute I've been sent to the back, and it's like, great. I've got to somehow get through all of these cars in front of me, whilst also keeping the car intact. So it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, an excellent idea. I'm going to see if I can get us race control. David Woods, are you race control tonight?
Yes.
All right, bud. I know you definitely have your hands full, especially on that last call. What was the call for Nick Alford ended up in the back of the field? We did see a slow-mo of him actually clearing pit road in first position, but we see him back here in the 13th. What ended up happening, making that call to put him toward the back?
On that call there, I ended up making it because as he come out of pit road, he actually spun it on his own coming out of pit lane. And according to our rule book, if you spin it coming out of pit lane, you end up getting an EOL.
Alrighty, we weren't sure. I knew that was an override of iRacing's call, but we will go ahead and get you back there, but I'll put you back in the JKR Motorsports chat room.
All right, thank you, bud.
Thank you, sir. All right, guys, and there you go. So just to kind of hammer that out, you know, and get these things out from underneath of us, you know, that way we're not so confused here. You know, that is their rule. So, you know, I know, honestly, from our position, that puts Nick Alford definitely in a hole right now, back in the 13th position, but this will let Brendan Mathia and Riley Hoots run away.
On the wall.
Oh.
Man, I'm not sure who that was. Did you catch who that was, Kynan?
I can go looking back. Looks to be William
Zach.
Britton.
It was Zach
Oh,
back
that's
there
two
in the
cars.
99. They dove off in there and it just didn't stick. You know, Kynan, sometimes when you just get done with a long run, you have heat in those tires, and you're just not ready for the cold tires. You know, right? You know, full speed down the back straightaway and cold tires into turn 3. Do you think that's probably what got him there?
Yeah, either that or just trying to be a bit too ambitious. You just come out of a nice cycle where you just end up having muscle memory taking over. So maybe try and make up as many positions early on and try set himself up for the better run in the stage, but just overcooked it, and it's very easy to do, especially with new tires. Some cards it handles differently, you may be very loose. Others you actually get tight, so it might just be a case of that tonight.
Definitely something to see. Brandon Fetterplace was able to work that outside line, get around, I believe, the 51 car, but now back underway. Excuse me, the 25 of Janicek there. Boy, Fetterplace super fast right now, having a lot of speed out of his car. Yeah, you guys are just talking about cold tires, but I also want to note that the track temperature has actually dropped 6 degrees. We got about an 87-degree track temp. We were at 93, so I don't know if that is playing up on them at all. What's your take on it, guys?
Yeah, I mean, the track temperature coming down means you're going to have more grip in the track, so that's going to be pretty good for these drivers who have been battling the loose condition probably. But you know, by the time you get 20 laps on these tires, I'm not sure it's going to be feeling a whole lot different than it did at the beginning of the race.
Boy, Brandon Fetterplace working his way up into the 8th position. So that Toyota's putting them work on right now, getting up there. Nick Alford, throw out to him from that unfortunate pass back. He's in 10th, so he seems to be following along with Fetterplace there in that 95 machine. But he's still got a long way to go. Is now Nick Alford 2.5 seconds off where he should be. Up there in the front position, so we'll have to see how well Nick Alford can do getting his way toward the front. Let's see James Brosecker there in the 3. I know he ended up in a little bit of a tangle up there before. He's hanging out in the 7th position, so good racing out here so far. 60 to go left here at Homestead, Miami.
64 hard into the inside wall on the back straightaway.
Oh, he had gotten loose off of turn 2 a couple laps previous and made an excellent save, and it looks like he just wasn't able to save it this time. It's a good catch, kind of.
Yeah, no caution here because it is single, so we're going to go ahead and give you a quick 10-4 replay. Let's see what happened to that 64 machine.
The apron.
Oh, he almost saves it. Oh, boy.
Oh, that's a hard hit.
Yeah, that left front is broken, so I'm hoping he's not done. You can see the tires spinning to keep it going.
Yeah, he's limping it back to pit road now at pit entry as we speak.
He takes that cut across the lane there. Definitely tough for him. Boy. Trouble for that 64 car. I don't know if he's going to check out, but we'll have to see if he remains. If he's able to come back and get that thing with a fast repair or not. But let's rotate back up front. Riley Hoots leading this rate. Brendan in the number 1 machine going ahead and trying to get his way up front. Only about a 10th off of his rear bumper. So still working that draft, but kind of seeing him hang out, talking about getting a little bit of that clean air that you're talking about. Christopher Miller in the 12. 3rd place, Alan Bledsoe 4th. And Zachary Denius there in the 5th position. So Zach out of the J. Carroll Motorsports team is surviving into the 5th position. Really, guys, this is starting to shuffle up differently than what we expected here. Alford up to the 8th position. Brosecker back to 10th. I'm not sure. These guys are doing so much moving around. It's hard to say where these guys are going to be toward the end of the race.
Yeah, right now, with Nick Alford having that small little mistake on pit exit, has definitely thrown a spanner in the works, and Riley Hoots doesn't seem to really be pushing it to probably more just saving the tires for a longer run. But Nick Alford, having made his way up into the 8th, currently trying to find a way past the 20 of Brendan Fetterplace. Fetterplace driving it in really deep into turn 3 is going to open the door nicely for the 95 Coastal Pacific Marketing Chevrolet to then be looking at it on the front straight. Fetterplace being able to carry some momentum on the high line, but Nick Alford having that low line is going to be able to just have the preferred line and has the choice to drift up if he wants it.
All right, Fifield out there in the chat room for his J. Carroll Motorsports buddies. So here they are in 6th and 7th. Still got a long way to go, but man, Nick Alford is on a tear right now. Back into the 6th position, really shaving off this time there every single lap. Redenius there ran a 34-second. Right now, Nick is running a 33.6, so we'll see how this last one goes. Nick runs a 33.7, and Fetterplace actually ran a 34.2. So you just see the speed right now. Nick Alford's picking up. He's 0.2 faster than Villalobos he's catching to. So really, Robert, we are looking at a heck of a really fast car right now. And I think he's got it to get back up there. Right now, we're seeing him break into the top 5.
Yeah, I agree. I thought chances are without a couple of cautions, his race was probably over with that EOL, but he's making an amazing run up through the field right now. He's consistently running faster or equal to the times of the leader right now. And actually he just had a moment there off of turn 2, but he's making a great rebound here. If things stay green, he can play the pit strategy properly and I mean, he's definitely not out of this thing, and obviously a caution brings him right back into it too. So, you know, he's sitting in about as good of a spot as he can, even though he's losing a spot here to the 78. No doubt he's been burning the tires up too, so we'll see how he can maintain over the longer run.
Yeah, maintaining over the longer run. Riley Hoots, remember, he has saved another set of tires, so Alfred having to be careful here with what he's doing if he's going to have enough tires to make it here toward the end. We'll have to see on that aspect of the race. He's still fast right now, but if he's burning them up, you know, will this cost him toward the end? Another move here on the inside of Villalobos is to try to push him 4-5, and it seems Nick Alfred seems to be stalling out a little bit. His moves are having starting to take a toll. I'm just wondering if that tire fall off is starting to become real now, and he's now 3 seconds off that lead pace. So he's got to keep picking up speed here to get going. But I will admit here, Kynan, that his car runs very, very, very well in clean air. So if he can get out front of Villalobos here that we see, he has to make up a second here on Alan Bledsoe in the 42 machine to catch up. So he's got a little ways to go to catch that car, as we kind of see here on a wide extended view of where Nick Alfred needs to get to on his car. A lot of space he has to make up, but boy, if that 42 can just stay in one piece and not getting banged up or mixed around in that vehicle, he should have this thing in the bag.
The 42 is also being held up by the 12 right now, which is going to be helping Nick Alfred in the 95. So even though he's got to claw up a fairly large gap with them battling right up in front, it's going to be slowing them down dramatically. But the thing I'm wondering is how much has Alfred burnt up the tires? Robert, how do you really save tires on a long run?
Well, you know, on the long run, you want to just avoid as much wheel input as you possibly can, and that's where you separate the fast guys from the race-winning guys. Is the long run speed, and having short run speed and long run speed, right? So there's a lot of ways to make speed in the short term, but if you can't maintain it over the long run, you're just going to give all those spots back. As we ride on board with Bledsoe here. So if you see Bledsoe on corner entry here, you see how little wheel input he's putting into it? I mean, the less wheel input that you put into the car, the more tire you're going to have over the long run. And I imagine if we were on board with Alfred, we'd see him doing something similar. But, I mean, that's really the best thing you can do. I'm sure these guys are probably using a little brake on entry right now. You don't want to be using your tires to brake for you. You want to be using your brakes, because if you're using your tires to slow down, you're just burning the rubber off of them. So we see a big run down the front straightaway here. He's going to easily pass this car, I believe, down here in turn 1. But you see a little more wheel input there as he's fighting hard to get back to the gas to pass that guy there. Looks like he's going to get it done.
Yeah, you did see him making that move there. It looked like Villalobos was about to fold his bumper there a little bit. There we go. Looks like I was going to ask you guys, did you notice he kind of hangs out in that 4th gear position and rides that thing almost red line, but then right there he shifts into 5th. With these new, Gen 7 cars here having 5 gears, other than fuel savings, when is it good to shift into 5th?
And from my perspective here, not exactly sure. See, it looks like he's at 9,300 or so when he's shifting. So, I mean, he can get a little more out of 4th gear there if he wanted to, actually. And you can run it up a couple hundred RPM higher than that before you need to shift. On the long run, these guys can probably stay in 4th gear the entire way around the racetrack, which is what he's going to do here down into turn 1. He never shifted into 5th. And I think that's going to be the play on the long run in order to keep those speeds up at the end of the straightaways.
That is very interesting there. I always thought, it's like the old school models, you kind of just leave it in 4th and let it rip. Interesting to see a lot of guys shifting. I don't know. I think I'm probably old school, with the 87s, the Xfinities, the old Cup cars. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all you got. And now that we've gone to digital dashes and now into a 5th gear. Definitely changing up the way you look at racing. You know, we're going away from a 5 lug to now only a center lug. You know, and really what it's doing to the sport is kind of, it almost seems like we're changing Indy style, you know, just from the outside.
I would have said that we're going more. I know I may be biased in saying this, but more V8 supercars. With how the diffuser is going single lug and the sequential shifter, it seems very V8 supercar-esque. And you've also got to think about how NASCAR has entered into the 24 Hours of Le Mans coming up with the next-gen car. So they're definitely going for a lot more of a road-based feeling towards the car now, which is going to definitely make things interesting going forward in the future for the sport.
Yeah, a lot of guys kind of wishy-washy whether this is the direction that I think NASCAR should take. I'm old school style, but really this seems to be the wave of the future. I know the upcoming season for Racing Revolution, these are the cars you guys are racing, is it not, Robert?
Yeah, that is what we're doing next season. I'm getting a lot of recon in right now, seeing what these guys are dealing with. And I mean, it's very different than any of the other stock cars that are on the service, really. I think Kynan made a great point comparing it to V8 supercars. You know, it's definitely a similar philosophy behind the design of the V8 supercar specs and what we have here with the Gen 7 Cup car and NASCAR. And some of that stuff has translated really well to NASCAR racing, and other stuff not so well so far, in my personal opinion. Yeah, well, they're going to keep tweaking on the car. Things will change significantly over the next couple of years, I think. But I mean, one of the big things to get used to is that you have so much more mechanical grip, but you have zero side force. So when you go down into the corner, the car sticks until it doesn't, and so it makes it more difficult to find where that line is. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of these guys who are getting really loose on corner exit, especially at turn 2, and losing control of the car. We've seen a lot of great saves tonight too, though, not to take anything away from these guys, but the lack of side force is a big deal in these cars. It makes it very difficult to save it when the rear end steps out on you.
Yeah, I know I've raced in these just a little bit, and if there's one thing I can say, they almost seem easier to handle. You know, you're able to kind of move the car around a lot more nimble without as much kind of lashback. You know, the car follows where you tell it to go, depending on the track. You know, if you're a short track, Kynan and I have seen here, I believe at Rockingham and North Wilkesboro, I think we were, that if they hit just one weird spot, it would make a 90-degree turn and shoot straight up the track and slam into the wall. But it seems they're a little easier to handle. The only thing I find that a fumble is are tires. You know, the tires just don't last. You got about 25 good laps out of these things, and then they kind of enter that certain spot where you're not going to pick up speed, you're not going to lose speed, but you're kind of able to hang on for a little while and not really pick up anything. It brings a weird kind of racing that no longer the pebbles are coming off the car. It's more of a fine dust, which I think would end up causing more of a traction issue out there on these tracks.
These cars seem really sensitive to heat in the tires as well. I mean, they definitely wear out quick, like you were saying, but just having the heat in the tires seems to harm the cars big time. I mean, if you could take some of these used tires, cool them off in the pits and put them back on, which isn't something we can do in iRacing yet, but one day when we can, if you can get your 20-lap tires cooled off, I mean, I think it would be somewhat competitive. They build heat, and it just seems like that just destroys the drive in the car.
Yeah, especially with a bigger rim, shorter sidewall. I think that's just, a lot of things you see there is just, there's no room to cool off. We've kind of cupped the car around the tires so much, there's just not enough to get going here. But right now, I believe Mathia ended up kind of making a little bit of a mistake here. Excuse me, not a mistake. Sorry, I looked up at the ticker and I noticed Mathia was dialing it back there, and Bledsoe went ahead and took second place, which has moved Nick Alford into the third. I think Nick Alford may have to short pit here to get back up in front to give Riley Hoots a run. But, boy, that's going to put a lot of chips in the favor of Riley Hoots, winning this race here. 2 seconds off Alan Bledsoe, Nick Alford third, Villalobos in fourth, and Christopher Miller still there in the fifth position, going ahead and doing great. Oh, look at this.
Oh, oh man, you hate to see that. That thing's gonna be totaled. The
Oh,
left rear wheel is probably broken on that thing for Hoots.
yes, it is.
Well,
That's gonna be his race
you,
right there,
you
man.
were saying how something might need to happen.
So this raises a really great point, kind of. In these cars, you have a lot more variance with your brake bias in the car. You can dial it back really, really far. And I'm sure that these guys are heavy in the brakes in these corners, and you're dialing that brake bias backwards in order to get more turn in the car on corner entry. If you're coming to pit road and you don't dial that brake bias back forward, and you get hard jab on the brakes coming to pit road, it can kick the car out, which is possibly what happened to Hoots there.
Wow.
Yeah, it definitely seems like just under braking it. He tried to then get through, try to make as much time as possible getting into pit road, but it just snapped sideways. And just going back to the Mafia, they did actually make a little mistake on corner exit just before coming into pit, so don't worry, Patrick, you were correct, they did make a mistake, but they also came down pit road. But yeah, Robert, just you want to be trying to be as greedy as you can with how much brake pressure you can really use, and especially with how much brake bias you can get away with. It's a very fine line with making speed, but then when you come into pits, if you have it too far to the rear, then suddenly you're just going to snap around like that.
Boy, and that is definitely going to cost Riley Hoots, and I believe that will probably cost him the race. Riley Hoots is now 2 laps down. We saw he took a quick peek. He did take his fast repair, got 4 tires, and tried to get back on the track. But I think we're going to need, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 8 cautions to get Riley Hoots back on the lead lap here, which is really unfortunate for that 24 machine. And like you were saying, I'm wondering if even build up and tire temperature, just makes him slick, and he just couldn't stop either. Because we saw he locked him up, slid, and then bang, right into the wall. So that is going to, that's probably going to seal the deal for that night. And Kenny Powers Motorsports is going to feel that in the points running here tonight. Fortunately, some of these laps led for them worked out. Alan Bledsoe, the leader before in the 42 machine, has pit. Nick Alford remains out so far. So look at that spin off the pit road, guys, and now Nick Alford's back in the lead.
Yeah, the bobble, the bobble by Mathia, followed by Hoots losing it and wrecking on pit road there, has really opened this up for Alford to get back in this race. He's abused the tires too hard early in the run, and it was starting to hurt him on the long run. But those two guys one's cost himself the race, and the other one's cost himself a fair amount of time on pit road. That really opens things up for Alford to have a chance at the big comeback. And then additionally, Bledsoe coming off pit road now behind these guys. He's in a great spot right now as well, as he was actually ahead of the 95, and now he's going to have the fresh tires as the 95's heading to pit road.
Boy, yeah, and I wouldn't wait much longer for that 95 to go ahead and hit pit road. You got guys who are getting ready to get they're getting ready to get really fast out here, and they've got to stay out in front. So Nick Alford going to go ahead and bring it down pit road. Villalobos now retains the lead, and I believe he is the only guy out there who is yet to pit. So I'm sure this next time around he's going to go ahead and give it a shot and get back out there. Want to give everybody a quick shout out there who's doing a great job, who are laps down, still making this thing competitive for the racing out there. I know Edward Marshall, we'll see him slinging by there in that 16 machine. He ended up running out of gas, leading those laps, and is unfortunately 3 laps down, but he is still out on the track. Really appreciate seeing him continuing the race. Some guys just go ahead and quit and send it to the garage. Jeremy Richmond being another one of them. Man, this is just what a wild turn of events for a lot of these drivers out here. And we'll have to see. Villalobos, there he is down pit road. So I wonder if that will put Mathia into the lead. Let's see. All right, Mathia should go ahead and take the lead. And I believe that is Brian Messer in the 54 machine is going to go ahead and assume that position right after that. But boy, we got a lot of work to do here. If you are Nick Alford in that 95, he is back here, let's see, in the 6th position. So I'm assuming he's probably going to be pretty fast here getting back on track. He's got to get a hold of past Villalobos here. There we go. As he gets around, you see Villalobos there toward the inside line. So Kynan, you think Alfred's got enough to run Mathia down?
He's got the pace, but does he have enough time? That's really going to be the question. And we've seen the 1 or 16, depending on whichever timing you want to look at, have small little mistakes. And Alfred, besides that mistake on pit road, we haven't seen them really slip up. So they've got more consistency and pace, but it's going to be a matter of if we get another caution. If we get another caution, I'd say Alfred will easily be able to have it. Or not easy, but it should be much easier than what they currently have to live up to right now.
Yeah, right now that number 1 car up here in the front already has a 10-second lead right now on Bledsoe. He did pit lap 138, and he did have the fastest lap on the track and still holds to be true so far here, Kynan, with a 33.265. So, at this point, he's got to have this thing to the floor and try to outrun these guys as we are coming down with 25 laps to go left in this race.
Yeah, he's got the pace right now, but you've also got to make sure to make it last. With taking those new tires, it's going to be very grippy, but you got to then not be too greedy, use up all the rubber too soon, and then be able to keep it going throughout the entire last part of this run. When you've got this sort of gap, you've also got to hope that there isn't a caution. If there's a caution, that's going to make things a lot more stressful for you. You can be leading from such a massive advantage, then suddenly one little mistake from someone else, you're nowhere near it. The yellow comes out, then suddenly your biggest rival is right behind you.
Yeah,
For the last 2 laps, Bledsoe's been 2.5, 3/10 faster than Mathia, which feels really good, but it would feel a lot better if you weren't 9 seconds behind right now with about 24 laps to go. That's not going to be enough time to catch him, I don't think.
Yeah, not looking like it right there, as we can see Mathia working around Jeremy Richmond there in the 98 machine, putting Jeremy Richmond back down 2 laps. So really kind of a tough night for his machine there. We saw him and another car try to share the same real estate there. I believe it was Bledsoe he got into. Those two got spun out. But really, we're taking a look here at Matthias. But Matthias right now, I mean, just seeing hitting that lapped car. Bledsoe now 8.4, 8.3. So it's starting to slowly chip away. There's still time. There's still time. Just the time is finite. He's got to start really pouring on the pressure. I don't know if Nick Alford has enough. He's 16, so he's double the time off of Bledsoe. So he's still got a lot of track to make up here, and it's so far to go. As we take a quick little look here at the track map, kind of see his separation here. We're looking for that number 4 there. Number 4 should be big and swollen up, exiting 2 here, and really the first place is where he is almost half the track away. So you just see he's got.
Bledsoe took a big chunk out that last lap.
Uh-oh. I see somebody in the
Half a
12th
second.
position. Something happened. Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what's going on there.
Yeah, it looks like Jeremy Richmond went ahead and is bringing it down pit road. We kind of looked at our track map, and the guy in 12th position came to a screeching halt. Oh no, that's not good. As I thought we had something.
Bledsoe just took another half a second out, Patrick. He's actually half a second a lap faster now, and it's getting a lot more interesting.
All right, boiling down with 20 laps to go. 7.5 seconds Bledsoe has to make up to catch up to that number 1 vehicle in the front. So we'll have to see if any of that pit strategy. They're only about 5 lap difference. I would assume on those tires. We'll have to see. Does Mathia kind of play tire conservation and battle it out? With the impending doom of the 42 car trying to run him down. Or do you keep putting this thing to the floor, trying to outrun him?
Well, I can only speak for myself, but when I'm in a race situation like Mathia is right now, I'm taking it nice and easy. I know he's got to run really hard if he's going to catch me. Bledsoe does have a 5 lap tire advantage, but I like to take it nice and easy and let those guys behind me catch up, 3 seconds behind or whatever, and then turn it back up. And at that point, normally they've burnt it up enough. So I'm not sure if that's the strategy that he's playing here, or with the 5-lap tire advantage for Bledsoe, he could just be that much faster. He's got it down to 6.3 seconds, and he's taken 8/10, 9/10 out this last lap.
And we're going to kind of roll it back here at Villalobos, kind of working on the inside of Riley Hoots there. Oof, Riley Hoots, you kind of see that front end kind of snag on him there. We're looking to see if Villalobos is going to try to put some moves here on Christopher Miller there of that 12 car. Curio Racing just arriving here. Welcome back.
You know what it is, Patrick? You know what it is? I think Mathia is saving fuel.
All right. See if we can take a little ride along here with Brendan Mathia here and see if...
I think kind of hard to tell.
Definitely.
What do you think, Conan? What do you hear?
There is a little bit of hesitation on the throttle, so definitely sounds like he is taking it easy. Lifting fairly soon, just letting it ride through the corner, not really redlining it. Definitely some fuel saving going on there.
He last pit on lap 138, so I wouldn't think he would need to save fuel unless maybe he just didn't take quite enough fuel on the pit stop. If you think maybe that's what's going on.
Maybe banking on another caution to come out, or maybe using crew chief and went a bit softer previous stint, which has then done some sort of corruption in the coding for crew chief auto fuel, and then suddenly you're a lap down.
Man.
That's definitely something to keep an eye on there. Didn't expect to see that.
No, especially not with only a 5-second gap there. Alfred going ahead and chopped off to 12 seconds. And Feder placed 13 seconds. So these guys have, like I said, they still got work to do. Still able to catch him. Interesting to see. We were watching before so many drivers hanging out in that 4th gear position, but we did not see him shift out of 5th once. So he's hanging in that overdrive gear, trying to see how long he can push it and keep it going up front. So we'll keep an eye on him. Nick Alfred and Feder place. So these two guys, they're pretty close in the 3rd and 4th position. And Villalobos and Miller for 5th and 6th. So definitely something to see for some of these drivers, whether they're going to be able to get it. Looks like Villalobos has finally gone ahead and passed Christopher Miller there in the 12 machine. Kelly Thomas 7th, Matthew Wilson 8th, James Brosecker 9th, and Ian Janik there in the 10th position. So really we're starting to see a lot of these guys just, I believe we saw the 25 ricochet off one of those walls, getting in a little bit of trouble there, but he rounds out the top 10 and really last person on the lead lap.
Tell you what, if Mathia wants to win this race, he's going to have to find a couple of tenths that he does not have right now. We're on track for the 42 to catch him with about 3 or 4 laps to go right now. But we've seen all race that the dirty air makes it very difficult to pass guys. When he catches him, is he going to be able to make the move?
Yeah, Bledsoe doing a great job right here. Less than 3.5 seconds with 12 laps to go in this race. So these guys still pushing, trying to get up front. But does Mathia have it? I haven't seen this driver here before. I think even Jacob Fifield out there said he has never raced against the leader here. So this may be a new driver here to the High Octane Sim Series. We'd like to thank all our viewers out there for joining us here at 10-4 Broadcast as we're coming down to about 10 laps to go in this race, really, and this is going to decide the winner of 173 laps here at Homestead, Miami, and really what a battle it has become. Quick shout out to some of our sponsors out there, Admin Box, one of the fine sponsors, W Energy Drinks, and Captain Jack's Smokehouse. A couple of the sponsors here for the High Octane Sim Series. Glad to see them jump on board and give these guys all the support that they need. But man, guys, I don't know, man. Alan Bledsoe 3 seconds less than that now with Mathia there in the front. So really he's got to yeah, like you said, he's got to pick up time, or otherwise this is going to be a big problem here for him at the end. I just don't know if Bledsoe has burned up his tires chasing him down.
Mathia needs
Bledsoe-
2/10.
Well, Bledsoe was 2/10 slower that time when every other time he was 0.4 quicker, so seems like Mafia has picked up the pace, but earlier in this broadcast, when asking who might have a shot at it, I said Mafia and Bledsoe. Look who's in first and second.
All
You
right.
knew something that we didn't. You've been talking to the guys in the garage area.
I've just been looking at the times.
Oh, this guy. Man, but really, it's a battle less than 2.5 here, guys. 9 to go left in this race. This is starting to really heat up here in a little bit. I know we're kind of watching one car running around the track here, you know, him and Mathia, but this is going to be the battle here toward the end, pending no caution. We've been saying that is going to be the big switch up here. I believe if there's a caution, that puts Nick Alford in the winner's circle. But right now, you know, at this point, these two guys right here, they're going to be the ones to beat. Bledsoe has got to start picking up some more time. It seems Bledsoe is starting to fall off a little bit here. He was 3/10 faster that lap, so he's still he's got to keep staying consistent. And when you're saying he'll catch him with 3 to go, this is going to be tough. He's still got to catch him. He's still got to pass
right
him.
now. With this 32 car here of Robert Ballard Jr. is dumping dirty air on that 42's nose, and it is destroying his lap time right here.
Oh,
Gonna go ahead and let the 98 go by here, and hope the 98 can get out ahead of him, because this is costing him at least 2/10 every lap right now. To see the 32 is going to get out of the way now. He'll appreciate that.
Yeah, try to follow
42.
behind Jeremy Richmond there. We did see the 42 later on in his run at the last stage, or right before his last pit. He was sliding all over the place. Bledsoe about 1.5 seconds. So Jeremy Richmond might actually be doing that 42 a little bit of a favor there. Let him hit that aerodynamic bubble, still be able to get some clean air there, but help him get a little bit of a slingshot move here to get going. 6 to go left in the race here, guys. This is going to be tough.
What do you think, Kynan? You think he's going to get him?
Well, right now, just with how he's sliding around, he's going to
Oh,
flip
man.
the apron, getting very unsettled in the dirty air. As
He's
soon as he
giving
got
it
into
everything
that,
he's got.
but as soon as it got into that dirty air, then that's when it started slipping and sliding all over the place. So needs to dial that out, but he has to somehow find the pace. Be interesting to see if Jeremy Richmond holds up the 16 at all. If the 16 decides to just let it go, which he seems to have, but how much time did he just relinquish by doing that?
Yeah, that's a good point. Now he's going to have the dirty air on his nose, which he has not had to deal with for quite a while in this race.
Bledsoe just outside of 1 second behind
Oh,
Mathia here.
42 is a major issue coming out of 2. It was an incredible save.
Wow.
You know, amazingly, he didn't really lose any time when it happened.
Yeah, I'm just worrying about it taking the toll on those tires. Like I said before, you know, we'll have to see if he can hook. You know, we had some problems there toward the end. He just has to get him to stick out. He's got 4 laps to get it done, but he has a second left to go. But boy, he is he was definitely slow, about 1/10 faster, just barely faster than Mathia right there. Broken less than a second here, guys. So here he comes.
And it's gonna be so close, but I don't think he can get it done with the dirty air, Kynan.
Yeah, once again, he got into the dirty air of Mafia and it just started to slip sideways. So, Robert, if you were Bledsoe right now, you want to go for the win, but with how the car is slipping and sliding, do you just decide to settle in and just take the second place instead of risk putting it in the wall?
I think it depends on this lap right here. If you can take 3/10 out of his lead on this lap, I think you're giving it everything that you got. If you don't make your way down to about 7/10, then I think it's time to back off and save the car, take second place. We'll see where he ends up here.
Boy, oh boy, these guys are really starting to put it on. Little bump there from Edward Marshall and Robert Ballard Jr. there in the back. Bledsoe, you see, is definitely having to fight that car and, drag it around. Half a second off the lead, 2 to go here, ladies and gentlemen, as these guys are pushing, trying to keep this thing close. Edward Marshall, oh boy, so this, here's something else. So now we got a lapped car getting mixed up in this. Where is Bledsoe going to go? Will any of this help him through the turn to help him drag, or is it going to loosen him up? Oh!
If you're Bledsoe, you want to get out of the car and punch him in the face right now for what just happened in turn 3. Same thing's going to hurt Mathia down here in turn 1, though.
I was going to say,
the final lap.
I could see that. Edward Marshall did go ahead and actually door Mathia there a little bit and kind of bump that car. So we definitely have the battle on our hands. Looks like Alan Bledsoe, 3/10 off fighting that car. Here he comes, trying to get a little bit left of that draft as they dive into turn 3.
Oh, 42 he sent it in there.
Of Alan Bledsoe, sending it on through. Can he drag it on? Here he comes, 42 in the ATD machine. Going ahead and drift around. Send it, boy. Oh, man. It looks like Brendan Mathia takes the win. Alan Bledsoe, so close. So close. Coming in second right there. Hell of a job trying to get that one pushed around. Nick Alford goes ahead and gets himself another 3rd place for the 2nd week in a row. So, fantastic job by these guys going ahead and getting the podium. Wow.
That was a valiant effort. He gave it everything he had. He almost got there.
Holy cow. Alan Bledsoe wishes to be called the Red Dragon by a previous broadcaster we had here. Definitely took flight on one and got picked up a boatload of speed on that car. And I give it to him, man. That was from so far behind to get so close. I mean, I think if he maybe had 3 more laps, that would have been it. But I just don't think those tires would have made it. Wow, that was close. Brendan Mathia, Alan Bledsoe, Nick Alford, the top 3. Villalobos got up into the top 5, finishing 4th. Brandon Fetterplace into the 5th position. Christopher Miller 6th. Kelly Thomas 7th. Matthew Wilson in the 8th. Ian Janicek there in the 9th. And James Brosecker. Check him out in the number 3. Placing in the 10th position. Really great job there. Riley Hoots, unfortunately, boy, he fell back to the 13th position, but he was still able to get pretty close up there toward the top. So, quick shout out for him out there. But we're going to go ahead and see if we can find some of our drivers out there, and let's have a little chat with them and see how they did. Because, boy, Nick Alford here, man, he is, he's got it. He has the speed. He had it. It's just that spin off pit road, and I know he's not going to be happy about how that one ended up there right at the end. So, let's go ahead and get Nick Alford in here. Nick Alford, you got a copy?
Yes, I got you.
Oh, man. So, I know there has got to be some frustration. You kind of had this one in the bag here. You had it sealed, and then the spin-off pit road. Were you just trying to edge out Riley Hoots there right at the end?
Yeah, I was trying to get ahead of him, just get the nose. I got the nose, but, yeah, I just hit it a little too hard. But, yeah, it's very frustrating. I was the car to beat all night, and, yeah, just silly mistake.
Yeah, top 3 the past 2 races. Still, you gotta say you did a fantastic job out here. We got somebody out there in the chat. Stellar Stella Alford made the podium from an EOL. How is that not an example of great driving? So I mean,
Absolutely.
you were able to pass, push through so many other cars and get your way back up front. I mean, you got to be proud of that. In that 95 machine.
Yeah, I'm definitely proud of the finish. It's like I said, just silly mistakes. It's super disappointing. I kind of I figured out a good secret right before practice in a little private practice, and it was working all night. And then yeah, I just got loose off pit exit.
Yeah, was there any sort of kind of tire strategy that you had going on there? I think Riley Hoots saved an extra spare set, but he had problems on pit road as well. Kind of what was your strategy for the rest of this race?
So we have enough tires to double stack the stages with tires and then have a set left over. So I really wasn't on any kind of tire strategy. This place kind of chews up the tires anyway. So it was more of a fuel mileage thing with my strategy. I was running the whole lap in 4th gear, and I was burning more fuel. So sometimes I had to kind of lift a little bit earlier to kind of get that gas back. But other than that, tires was the car felt good and solid on old tires. Like you just had to be used or be easy off throttle on exit of 2. But other than that, no real tire strategy.
Oh, man. All right, bud. Well, heck of a race here tonight. You got a third at Watkins Glen. You got a third here at Homestead. You got Nashville Super Speedway coming up. And, I mean, you guys have 195 laps at that track. I mean, I prefer, the Super Speedway track over the fairgrounds. How are you feeling about that, about that race next week?
I'm kind of excited about it. It's a fun track. Lots of great racing goes on there. So I'll definitely be able to put a ton of practice this week because my wife and kids go up to Tennessee tomorrow. So I'll have free reign to practice whenever I want to. So,
all right, man, and really, it's a great. To me, that's one of my favorite tracks. It's very tacky grip, and it's very forgiving. A little mistake, you got plenty of room to make up and come up with extra tenths out there. Really, up here in the booth, man. I thought you had it won, but that spin off pit road. We even had to pull race control in and ask, why is he in the back of the field? Because we did a slow-mo. You beat him off pit road. It's just, I think iRacing put you up there, but I think via y'all's rules, to the back of the line you go. But regardless, fantastic job tonight, bud. And go ahead and give your shout-outs there for that JKR Motorsports team.
Yeah, shout out to the team. Shout out to Max Graphics for paint schemes. Shout out to you guys for sponsoring the league. W Energy, Bunker Branding. They're a new sponsor for myself. Waiting on a paint scheme from them. So we have a lot good stuff going on right now. So,
alrighty, Nick Alford, fantastic job here tonight, bud. And I hope to see you next week going ahead and getting that thing under control and really getting a little higher up. I'd like to see you in the winner's circle next time.
All right, thank you so much.
Good job, bud. All right, guys, and there's Nick Alford. Really a hard battle there right toward the end. But speaking of guys battling, we got Alan Bledsoe. And Alan Bledsoe did a whole lot of battling there right toward the end. And kind of, really, I want you to talk to the Red Dragon here.
Red Dragon!
Have
I got a copy, guys.
So, unfortunately, you weren't able to get it done, but with how the tires were coming in, we saw that you were getting loose. Was that just a case of overdriving corner exit, or was the tires just starting to overheat?
So this setup sucks. I'm going to start off with that. The camber is way too high for these corners, and therefore the insides of the tires heat up way more than the outsides. Like I could probably go. Yeah. So my the outside of my right front is still at 100% on the long runs. So, and the insides, the very insides, 85%, middle at 86. The camber is so bad. It's so poorly done that it makes it really hard to conserve your tires. But honestly, I thought I did a pretty good job. Rears were not in the ground or not in the racetrack at all at the end of the race, but found a way to make it work to my advantage. In the center, I would touch the gas, and that would help turn the car a little bit more. So then I could get out of it, get the car straightened out, and hold the wheel straight while I mashed it. But like, it was a fun race. I just wish I had just that little bit more, just a tiny bit.
Yeah, well, was still able to recover up to a second place. Earlier in the race, you end up making contact with Jeremy Richmond and then getting an EOL from that. How did you really get yourself back into a mindset to then start to fight your way back up for the field?
Well, I had to calm myself down because there in that stage 2 run, I overheated the tires. I wore them out by the end of the stage, and it was because I was driving angry. I was just so mad that I was the one that got the EOL because I felt like, I had to give room to the 20 car on the outside, and the 98 did not give me it felt like I haven't looked back at it yet, but it felt like the 98 didn't give me enough room on the inside to give that 20 car room. But it was I thought it was kind of well, it's probably words I shouldn't say on a broadcast. But it was yeah, I made a good recovery. Felt like I had a really fast car. I just had to get to the front. Made mistakes in my qualifying effort and overdrove turn 3, and then it was just a difficult race for me at the beginning, but made it work at the end.
Well, earlier on, how did the track really start to change where you positioned your car?
Well, actually, I didn't change where I positioned the car. I was a bottom feeder the entire time. That's honestly, it's against common knowledge, but that is where I can save my tires the best. That is where I've got the most speed. It's just honestly the best place to be is on the bottom. But ultimately, yeah, if you try going high, you're going to be turning the wheel way too hard, overdriving that corner. So, all night I was on the bottom. But over the course of the night, as the track cooled down, it definitely gained grip. And on fresh tires, you could send it a lot harder. But because it was so tempting, a lot of people did and wore out their stuff in the long run. I was tempted, yes, but I held true to my strategy, and I saved my tires for the end, and it got me in position to where I could fight Brendan, my teammate, for the lead.
Well, it was a good drive today, and just first of all, do you have anyone that you really want to thank for help getting you out tonight and ultimately getting into the second place tonight?
Well, I'm racing for my son. He's 3 months old, and he has just been admitted into the hospital for overnight care. He apparently is going through some bad health issues, so keep him in mind, obviously, and I am going to go straight to the hospital after this race and support him and my wife. But otherwise, I want to thank James for being the team owner of KPM, all my teammates, Riley, Brendan, those guys were really fast. Kelly, James, obviously, Matt, and of course Batby, who couldn't make it this week, but he'll be here next week, I'm sure. I want to thank ATD, American Tire Distributors. If you want your tires, go to tirebuyer.com. That is an affiliate of American Tire Distributors. Get your tires sent to your house or your shop of choice. And I want to thank Nick for putting the league together. I feel like he's done an excellent job getting the right people in the right places. And of course, I always want to thank you guys. You guys do a great job on the broadcast, and I look forward to watching it tonight.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll definitely have a bunch of replays that you and Jeremy Richmond got into. I assure you, we gave you multiple angles, so we'll let you guys fight that out in the...
So what did you guys see? I want to know, because I was inside the car, had a bad angle.
We're supposed to remain kind of impartial, but it did look like y'all were trying to share the same spot. You had enough room on the 20, and 98 tried to come up and get a little bit of that door draft, and I think you guys just shared at the exact same time.
I see. Okay.
It kind of clipped together, and I think, like I said, I think he was trying to get close because it was a 3 wide, and he didn't want to lose the draft, and I think you just wanted to give 20 a little bit of room, and it happened at the same time. So it almost looked like a racing incident. And I hate when people say
there was
that.
a little bit of room up there, though, Alan. You had a little more room to work with, if we're being honest.
All right, that's fair. I'll accept that. I am gonna go back and watch it, but I will definitely. I appreciate you guys for explaining that to me.
Yeah, not a problem, bud. And we hope to see you next week at Nashville Fair. Actually, National Super Speedway. So that one should be a fun one, bud. So go ahead.
I'll be here.
And appreciate you coming out on the simulator, man. But go ahead and see your kid in the hospital. I mean, go, go, go.
Oh yeah, I'll see you guys next time. I will definitely be here next week, and you guys enjoy the interview with Brendan.
Oh yeah, bud. Hopefully we'll see you in the winner circle again.
Well, it'd be my first time, but
Well,
I'm really trying hard.
you're getting close. You're almost there. So
All right. Talk to you later, guys.
Good job, bud. All right, guys, and there is Bledsoe, man. And we're gonna cut away for a quick commercial here, and we will be right back. All right, and we are on with Brendan here in that 16, or the number 1 car out there, and I believe, Rob, you've caught up with him there in winner circle, bud. Go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, number 1 car in the league, number 16 on the paint scheme, but finishes P1 tonight, Brendan Mathia. Tell me what the key to the race was. You started up in 4th, I believe, and then it seems like pit strategy had you in all different places in the field today. So how'd you get back to 1st place?
Yeah, that was a crazy race. Had no practice beforehand. Ran maybe 2 laps and just try to qualify my best. I don't have much experience in the next gen, and I made a lot of mistakes. I made way too many mistakes out there from the very beginning of the race, missing pit road and stuff. I was just trying to stay patient, take care of my stuff as much as possible. That's the key to winning at the higher levels, and it was really tough, but I was able to get back to the front and stay in the front for stage 2 and just put myself in better position. This was truly Riley's win. He just had a mishap coming down the pit road. He was way faster than me, but I'll take what's given.
Yeah, Riley Hoots definitely had a lot of speed tonight, but you took advantage of the situation and got yourself to P1 tonight. At the end there, you had pit 5 laps earlier than Alan Bledsoe had, and you had about a 10.5-second lead. I thought that you were sitting pretty at that point. And you guys were matching lap times for a while there, but then all of a sudden he was taking half a second out of your lead every single lap. When we went on board with your car, it seemed like you were taking things relatively easy, maybe even some speculation that possibly you were saving fuel. What exactly was going on there, or was it just simply a tire difference?
Nah, I was just trying to save tires. I've watched a lot of the big guys that do it in the pros, and you don't want to drive it in there over and over again. So I was just trying to save tires. That way, if he did catch me, I could use all I had on my end. I was trying to match as much as possible, but this track has crazy fall off at the end of the day, and he saved a lot better in those first 2 stages. So I'm sure he saved a lot better. Again, I was kind of pushing around that lap traffic. They wouldn't get out of my way, so that was pretty tough. And yeah, but the reason I came down 5 laps early is just because I knocked down the wall and I thought my car was pretty beat up, and so I had to use a fast repair. And I just immediately came down, and I guess it worked out. I don't know.
Well, we're glad it worked out for you. And since you brought up the lap traffic, I wanted to ask about that. Where's the line with the lap traffic? And late in the race, you're running hard for a win, and these guys are either getting lapped or trying to unlap themselves on tires. Where do you draw the line, and on what you think is fair and acceptable for those lap cars there in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the guys in front know the racing line, and if they choose to stay within, I'm too focused to come over the radio. So like maybe that's my fault, but I feel like at the end of the day you should know. So the racing line. The racing line tonight was mid to low part of the track, so just get high. As far as guys behind, I don't know what's going on. 4 laps left, 3 laps left, and they're trying to pass us, me and Alan both. I don't get that. I understand it early in the race, obviously, but late in the race, when we're racing for a win, I mean, it can throw off things. We have to maneuver our lines to try not to get ran over, or and then we end up getting offline and losing a lot of time. So. But it's a work in progress at the end of the day.
Well, fortunately, it didn't end up holding you back from getting the win tonight, so we're happy about that. And I'll give you an opportunity here to shout out anybody who helped make it happen for you, any sponsors who got you here.
Yes, sir. My paint scheme didn't load for some reason. I was supposed to be the number 1. I was running America's Car Mart scheme. That's where I work. So shout out to them. And then shout out to all my teammates, or the people I'm working with. I'm not officially on a team, but all my guys that I work with. James for making me schemes even though it didn't load, and Alan, me and him have known each other, met up in real life, so we're pretty cool. And just all those guys on that KPM team.
Yeah, well, congratulations to your team tonight, and congratulations to you for the win. What do you think about next week? Where are they going, Patrick? What did you say?
Nashville Super Speedway.
How do you feel about concrete?
Yeah, I've ran there a couple times. I like it a lot. I hate Homestead, so to even do this tonight was crazy. So Nashville Super Speedway is a way better track for me for sure.
Well, to say you don't like Homestead, had no practice, ended up winning the race, had the fastest lap of the race. I'm kind of scared to see what happens when you go to a place that you do enjoy, that you think you have a good shot at. So we wish you good luck next week.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Man, really has a very, very laid back kind of guy. He no confidence at this track, but wins. No pressure. Yeah, has that's something there. To kind of see him pull away with the win here tonight. Interesting to see what he was able to do. Him just conserving there toward the end, being able to maintain, and not really push it harder than he needed to. But boy, he definitely had trouble when Bledsoe was trying to run him down. But really, what a tough run for him here tonight as he comes away with his first race win of the season. Nashville Super Speedway is where he will be next week here, guys. But I appreciate everybody coming out here to 10-4 Broadcasting. Thank you again. We are sponsored by Admin Box. Don't forget, once again, to go check them out. Use the coupon code 10-4-BOX. That's with 2 X's. This is Patrick Morrison, followed by Kynan Jones, and our special guest of Robert Rader. If you wish to see him, you can see him in a few weeks on Wednesday at the Racing Revolution League, and he's going to try to see if he can get 6 wins in a row, since his last season ended up with 5 wins in a row. So thank you for coming out, guys. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will see you next week here at 10-4 Broadcasting.